Welcome to Pensar Basketball Live. What do you even say about a game like this? The Raptors had this game. They had it thoroughly throughout the second half. They were in command of this game pretty much after the first quarter, and they blew it. And when you see the tape on how they blew it, the numerous mistakes in the fourth quarter, you are going to want to smash your laptop. I encourage you, don't do that. There are growing pains. There are encouraging signs to be even taken away from games like this, but it hurts. It hurts to work this hard. You are undermanned, they are undermanned. Now, you might remember this Detroit team as the team you lost to that was really, really, really bad last year. And I've been saying all year, they're not that bad anymore. And they're still a really bad offense. So you have no reason to lose to them without their best offensive player, but they're also a pretty good defense. So it was going to be tough to score. And the Raptors just couldn't hit shots. Very often tonight, it felt like you were getting great looks at the rim, and you're just floating it up. You can't make the shot. You're getting brilliant open shots. You're just dropping it short. I'm just gonna turn my Wi-Fi off because I'm clipping here. Let me just turn this Wi-Fi off and let's see if that helps. So this was tough, man. If you want to call in and talk about this game, definitely let's talk about this game. It was a huge game for Scottie Barnes offensively. Really, really took off in that second quarter. I think he had 18 points in that second quarter. He was unstoppable in that second quarter. I think defensively, his activity really pulled him back into this game. And, I think late there were some encouraging moments from him as well, but there were some bad moments as well. This is a mixed bag. This is that kind of game where you can't just point to one thing. It's not just going to be one thing. It's not going to be one play. It feels very convenient to blame it all on, well, how did you let Jaden Ivey get that open? Well, Jaden Ivey was a top 5 pick for a reason, precisely because he can do things like that. And kudos to the Detroit Pistons for executing down the stretch, hitting a buzzer beater. I mean, as a person who has rooted for the Raptors, I have seen us not hit buzzer beaters because I've been watching Pascal Siakam and RJ Barrett take these shots literally for 2 years and miss them all. So it's kind of like weird to see a buzzer beater. It's almost like you saw Jaden Ivey clear it up at the top of the key 22 seconds ago. You're like, okay, we're going to overtime. Basically, nobody hits buzzer beating shots. Apparently, only the Raptors can't hit buzzer beating shots because Jaden Ivey was clutch tonight. And you know what's funny? If Cade Cunningham plays, I don't know if they win this game. I'm going to be honest with you. The fact that he didn't play allowed them to play better defenders, allowed them to be a little bit less predictable offensively, probably cut down some of their turnovers. So, not trying to be a, Cade hater here, but I think sometimes it helped not having the worst defender out there and the guy who leads the league in turnovers, because that's how you fuel easy offense. I think the Raptors had a lot of positives tonight. Jonathan Mogbo, again, an overwhelming positive. Jamison Battle, a very big positive. Chris Boucher, a lot of positives to take away from that right off the bench. Jamal Shed, very competitive, hit a couple threes. It was good to see, right? Is he a de facto backup point guard? No, no. Sometimes you look at these lineups and you're like, what are we doing here? It's like Scottie Barnes playing with a G League team, but that's okay, because that's going to force him to grow in the ways that a game like this is going to force him to grow. And he's going to look back at this film and say, why am I leaving this short at the rim? Why am I allowing Davion Mitchell, when I and RJ Barrett are on the court, to take a shot with the clock running down against a set defense in the half court for the second time? Why would I allow that to happen? One player who did not play tonight was Grady Dick. Another player who did not play was Jacoby Walter because, unfortunately, despite being called up from his G League assignment, he got in a little bit late. I think you could have used a Jacoby Walter tonight. You were very starved for offense and you didn't know where to go. The Raptors would have so much effort, so many offensive rebounds. This is a tough game. Let's take a look at it, and then we'll take a look at the film. The film is going to describe this game better than I can right now because I have so many thoughts going through my head. The film is going to be very telling, and I have a doozy for you guys today because you're going to see everything, and I'm going to show it to you through my eyes. I'm going to show you stuff that you're missing in real time in terms of tips and passes and how people, affect spacing. I think this is going to be a really good live. Now, it kind of sucks because tonight's supposed to be my birthday. I was born in Europe, so technically this is my birthday. And I wanted to win for my birthday. I know that sounds so stupid, but I wanted to win for my birthday. I just wanted the Raptors to win on my birthday, you know? And that may sound selfish. Maybe that Tank World Order does not hear that. And not only did the Raptors lose, but 2 hours ago, I I got food poisoning. So I've been a little bit not so well over the last half an hour. So this has just been like a hell of a half hour. So, anyways, yes, beers and beers and beers. Flag plus +1 for your birthday. Okay, cool. All right, let's take a look at this. As you can see, that red line shows you the Raptors' odds of winning this game. Basically, in the entire third quarter, 72-71, the Raptors took the lead, 75-71, and pretty much they held serve until the final 22 seconds. They were favored to win up until the 54-second mark. Okay? Take a look at how this game flowed. The Raptors got off to a very tough start. They could not buy a basket. Scottie Barnes was responsible for their first 9 points, either by passing, but anytime they went away from him, RJ Barrett, Davion Mitchell, who started in place of Grady Dick, it just resulted in absolute nothing, right? But kudos to the bench, right? The bench came in. The Raptors went on a 15-4 run the second Davion Mitchell went to the bench. I don't know. Coincidence? Remarkable coincidence? We don't know. But Davion had some good moments tonight, too. It's not all bad, but he also had some horrendous moments as well. Some of his pressure defense was very, very good. Some of his offensive decision making and execution was very bad. The Raptors overall shot 39.4% from the field. That is abysmal. They shot 28.6% from three. That is abysmal. They had 10 turnovers. That is abysmal. And they had 50 rebounds, which is pretty freaking great, if you ask me. And take a look here. Offensive rebounds. The Raptors had 23 offensive rebounds. Do you understand how hard it is to lose a game where you take nearly 30 more shots than the other team? And like, that's crazy. I mean, the Pistons did live at the line, but they didn't really execute on their free throws. The Raptors only got to the line 10 times and they hit 8. So kudos where kudos are due. They hit 80% of their free throws instead of, 65% of their free throws, which has become a common occurrence. But 23 offensive rebounds means you are trying really hard. And once again, you don't break the 30 assist mark. Once again, you barely break the 100 point mark. The Raptors offense just wasn't it tonight, man. It was really bad. It was really clunky. There was very little spacing. There was that really awkward play where Scottie plus Jakob are both standing in the paint. Like, what are you doing with your lives, guys? The Raptors led by only 8 in the fourth quarter, though. The Pistons led by 15 in the first half, in the first quarter, really. And the Raptors came back. They came back largely on the backs of, once again, the bench. Jonathan Mogbo, Jamal Shed, Jamison Battle. Rookie, played awesome. In a game you lost by 2, Jamal Shed was +2. +2. Okay? In a game you lost by 2, Jamison Battle was wait, what did I say? +2? Sorry. In a game you lost by 2, Jamal Shed was +11. In a game you lost by 2, Jamison Battle was +20. In a game you lost by 2, Bruno Fernando was +13, and in a game you lost by 2, Chris Boucher was +11. Jonathan Mogbo was +5. Ochai Agbaji, who had possibly the worst game that he's ever had in the NBA, he played 24 minutes, had 0 points, 1 steal, 1 assist, 1 rebound, and 1 turnover. And honestly, that pass that Jonathan Mogbo threw to him that he didn't catch should not be a turnover on Jonathan Mogbo. That was a perfect pass. Ochai fell asleep. Ochai has gone from the most improved Raptor to the worst Raptor, and I don't know what the hell happened to him. This is not a bad game. This is like a stretch of games where he has not looked himself, and he looks really shaken right now. Davion Mitchell was awful tonight. I don't give a shit what you say. You can cap all you want. He was not good. Okay. Overall, his decision making was not great. He slowed down the pace of the offense. He was consistently late getting the Raptors into their offense. It was not good. Okay. Scottie Barnes with 31 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists with 1 steal, 1 rebound. And I don't even think that comes close to measuring what this dude did for you defensively, psychologically, just everything. And I just want to say thank you all for the super stickers and super chats. I'm gonna respond to every one of them after we get through this before we do the film session. Did he hit your parlays tonight? You know, to all the people who hate on Scottie consistently because he doesn't score. You know, I shared a clip of Scottie getting an offensive rebound and a tip and a deflection, and somebody added me and they said, "You should be embarrassed of yourself. He's a max player. He needs to score." Did he score enough for you tonight? No, probably not, right? If you're someone like Rue in the chat, you probably think, no, 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 no. Scottie has to score 18 points every quarter for me to be happy, for him to be good enough to be my franchise player. Lord help you. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Overall, the Pistons get a really balanced effort. Early on, Malik Beasley had it going. Later on, not so much. Him and Scottie had some funny moments. We'll get into that. Jaden Ivey had a brilliant game, 25 points and 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Welcome back, Asar Thompson, one of my favorite young players in the league, a super hard worker, a really good person, and been following him for a really long time and just really happy to see him back on the court. He's a phenomenal talent, and I know he's been working on that shot, so he's going to be great for them. Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew, not great tonight. I didn't like him at all, but you know, when you're going to put RJ Barrett on him in the post, he's going to score. You know, Marcus Sasser goes 3 for 3, 9 points, much needed offense. Didn't like anything from Fontecchio. And Ron Holland was a mixed bag. You know, for a fifth overall pick, this is rough, right? But he's going to be a work in progress. He's the type of athlete that you need. And you know what? Looking up and down their rosters today, you really do feel that there's such a talent gap. Like a Ron Holland versus like what you're playing out there, a Jaden Ivey versus a Davion Mitchell? Do you like, if you understand basketball, you understand there is a massive talent gap between these two teams. And I'll let you know something. As I said, the Detroit Pistons are the 12th best defense in the league. Okay. The 12th. And it is very important to realize that the 12th best defense was missing, as I mentioned before, their weakest defender, their weakest link. So they were going to be a really tough team to score on tonight. Bickerstaff has them playing really competent defense, and he's got a lot of live wire athletes. And just frankly, I looked at that roster. I looked at our roster and I said, yes, Scottie's the best player in this game, but they're a better team. Okay. Right now, they were favored by Vegas to win for that reason alone. And the Raptors remain winless on the road. Now, we will get to the film breakdown, and that's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. It is going to be really bad. But first, before we get to the film, I want to show you RJ Barrett's shot chart. That's RJ Barrett's shot chart. Rue, if you don't want to cry tonight, you probably don't want to be here. Okay? Trust me on that one. Okay. Some super chats here. Davion Shitzel. I'm not personally a fan of making fun of people's last names. You do what you got to do. I appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate the fact that you did it twice. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I do what you want to do as a fan. Personally, as a person who would like to remain above the belt about certain things, I don't like people making fun of people's last names. It's just it's a family thing. You know what I mean? Mitchell. Some people are very proud of it. I someone once called me miso bitch, and I didn't like that very much. So I'm just saying, like, Pepper Jack, happy birthday, Rob. Hey man, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Not to get a top 4 lottery pick this year would be letting Scottie down. Put him around players with high IQ and people that can finish under the rim. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had the exact same thought while watching this game. Now, it's worth noting that Jacoby, Grady, Bruce, to some extent, Kelly, some of his more talented teammates did not play tonight. But yes, you're right. If you're going to challenge the upper echelon of the East, you're going to have to really address some issues as it pertains to the fact that you have a lot of defense only players and a lot of offense only players on this team. And in order to win, you got to have both. You got to have two-way players. And I'm just gonna leave RJ's shot chart here up here, just so Rue gets it into his head and people get it into their heads just how inefficient this guy can be at times. Okay, the red shows you below league average, so your all-star is literally below league average from the entire court, with the exception of the two corners on a very small sample of corner threes. Okay, and I don't know how many he missed tonight, but that might change tonight. Okay, so what I'm saying is that, yes, you got very excited about Ochai early, thinking he was turning a corner, but he was really one of the few guys who was a two-way player on this team. You take a guy like Davion, really a one-way player, right? You love the defensive effort and energy, and if that was, coming from Emmanuel quickly, you would love it. But you take a look at the offense, and you're like, you can't have this guy on the court, right? You can't sub out players. That's why I said he's a specialist player. He's like a special teams in football, like he's like situational. Like he's like, hey, Davion, we have this really, tough end of quarter possession where we need to pressure the guy at 94 feet. You go in for 12 seconds tonight. You get 12 seconds of playing time. Bam. That's what a minimum contract guy is. Not $10 million. Dear Raptors Republic and any other media outlet that wants to continue peddling this bullshit myth that Davion Mitchell is worth what, 8 times more than what DeLon Wright and Gary Trent Jr. got last year? Come on, man. Get out of here. Asher Ali with a super sticker. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, friend. Bueno Kitty. Yo. Happy birthday. Pen is mightier than the sword. Fourth quarter gang represent. Thank you so much, fourth quarter gang. We gotta have a little powwow because now I got my birthday until the end of the year to do everything I got to do. And this is when I want to lock in. Okay. So I definitely want to lock in. All right, let's get to the film, man. I've been teasing this for a while. Y'all gonna, I don't know. If you're like I don't know, this might trigger some people. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay. Nice pass by Scottie to open up the game here to Jakob Poeltl. Just coming off, he's getting much better at this, like putting that defender in jail and just kind of getting him on the hip. And he looks away like he's going to score, and he passes this right over Jalen Duren. Jakob Poeltl makes it a little less smooth than it could have been, but nice. Overall, great play. All right. And this was abysmal. Okay. This is a defensive breakdown if you've ever seen one. Now, who's guarding who here? Scottie clearly goes to deny on number 8. RJ just abandons Tobias Harris, and of course, Jakob Poeltl does not rotate back. So this is just a breakdown on epic proportions, and Darko Rajakovic literally called a timeout the second that happened. Okay, now this was one of the craziest plays, and this is what people said, oh, no, Rob, you should be embarrassed of yourself. Scottie needs to do more. Check this out. 1, so that is the 19, so that's at the 6:52 mark, he does that. So he tips this pass. Then he's going to close out. 2 seconds later, he's going to close out. He's going to force this miss right here and then grab a rebound, and he's going to push it up the court. Again, that's 3 technically defensive plays, okay? We talk about event creators on defense. Contests, steals, blocks, deflections, rebounds, it all counts. Doing 3 things like that in 5 seconds, well, that's why you're special. Okay, the Raptors down pretty big here. Let me guess, another defensive breakdown? Nope. Because Jamison Battle to the rescue. And this play really sparked the comeback for the Raptors. This was one of the big plays. Active hands for Jamison Battle. I thought Jamison Battle was the unsung hero of this game off the bench. I thought he was fantastic. All right, RJ Barrett with pretty good playmaking chops here. Bruno Fernando, a lot of the offensive rebounds. Bruno, Isaiah Stewart is, he's a really mixed bag. All right. And the Pistons just could not score on Scottie tonight. Isaiah Stewart is a very, very strong dude, one of the strongest players in the NBA. And here he's going to try to body Scottie Barnes, and he's not going anywhere. And Scottie is like 7'5" wingspan, and he is just able to deter that in a way that, frankly, guards and wings should not be able to do. All right. Now, I couldn't make sense of this play. It was so fluky across the board. First of all, it almost looked like Scottie kind of lost this on the way, but he just kind of misdirects this, throws it right into Mogbo. Well, I wouldn't say right into Mogbo's shooting pocket, a little bit off. And Mogbo is gonna bank this in. Yo, I know he didn't call bank. That was fluky as hell, but good for Jonathan Mogbo and Jamal Shed, who hit a three again. And this was the second night of a back-to-back for the Raptors, and that's worth noting. And here's me with my little Davion shit posting. The Raptors have been on a 15-6 run since Davion Mitchell went to the bench. He's back in the game now. Let's see if they can continue. Well, they pretty much never did. It never built beyond that. Davion Mitchell came in and the offense just stopped again, right? So the offense was clicking. There was a lot of good things happening. Take a look at this play from Jonathan Mogbo. And again, Bruno Fernando is not going to convert on this. Or did he convert on it? I think he missed it and then he put his own thing back. But I mean, this is a beautiful pass with the left hand from Jonathan Mogbo. Jonathan Mogbo is truly an ambidextrous basketball player, and it's really awesome. Now, take a look at this. Small things, small things that maybe don't show up. And this is Scottie fighting through a screen. And I didn't capture it, but RJ actually did something pretty similar in the fourth quarter, which was very, very encouraging to see as well, which got, overturned. But yeah, like this is Ausar Thompson moving just a little bit. Scottie trying to contest, in control. That three went in, but luckily it was waved off because Ausar Thompson got called for the foul. That's huge. That's saving your team 3 points. And I cannot say that enough. And this is Scottie with back-to-back threes. Now, obviously, there's not a lot to take from 3-point shooting clips, other than just to gloat, because there's a lot knocking these down. And you know what? I don't care how many of these he hits. It was mainly that he's taken them, with like I'm cool with him taking 15 threes a game. It's not going to lead to winning, fine, but it's about the process, man. You got to get him used to this, right? I actually have a brilliant idea. This was literally, I want to say 2 plays later, hits another one, right? And he's not open on these, just so y'all know. They're not daring him to shoot the way they dare Davion to shoot. This is a great defender in his face, guarding him, and he hits this. That's as contested a three as you're ever going to see Scottie Barnes hit. And that's the crazy thing, is that they are guarding him, and he is still making them, and that is pretty cool. Okay, now look at Jonathan Mogbo's speed and just his fluidity with the basketball. You rarely ever see this for a guy who can legitimately play center. It is really impressive to watch. Look at this. Transition. I love the Scottie and Mogbo minutes. Okay, Scottie's going to tail back here. And great pass by Davion Mitchell to find a streaking Jonathan Mogbo who finishes at the rim. And he's getting a lot better at just going up and, finishing. Scottie Barnes. And again, is this open? No. Not at all. Ausar Thompson gets a little bit clipped there, but Jalen Duren has a hand in his face. It doesn't matter. He's still hitting this, right? That's great. That's great. That's the step for Scottie. This is not about being a corner shooter merchant. Okay, this is not about being a dribble handoff merchant. This is about creating your own offense out of nothing. That's what you need. Now, this was probably the funniest moment of the night for me. Now, earlier in the game, Scottie Barnes and Malik Beasley got into it, and Beasley slapped the ball out of his hands and drew himself a technical foul from the worst officiating crew in NBA history. And Scottie Barnes decided to things like this, talking to a shooter like this, smiling in their face and asking him if he wants to draw a second technical, is the type of gamesmanship that truly only great players actually do. You rarely ever see non-star players having this kind of thing. Anthony Edwards understands this very well. Ja Morant understands this very well. The true superstars of this league, the big stars of this league, they are consistently trying to get in your head. They're trying to say things to you. They're trying to bait you into things. They're laughing at you, smiling at you. They're clapping at you, and this is like the type of maturity from Scottie, because he's, again, his team is up 3. Malik is having a tough night after hitting a few threes to start. And there he is, big smile on his face saying like, hey, you want to slap it again? That's the kind of thing that kind of jolts you a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to lock into your shot, you're trying to lock into the game, and you got this guy who's just kind of trolling you, and it's just it can get annoying, right? Now you might understand that there are certain players that would really not appreciate that and might backfire, but he clearly knows that Malik Beasley was not the type of he didn't have no Mamba mentality tonight. I'll tell you that. Malik Beasley absolutely folded after that play. Now watch this. Okay, they again, I don't mean to be too controversial here, but my caption is tell the experts to watch these plays on their next film breakdown, and I goddamn mean it. Watch this. Okay, Scottie Barnes finds Davion Mitchell for a wide open three. This is what the NBA would call a wide open three. That's wide open. The guy is 7 feet away from you. That's wide open. He could lie down and he still wouldn't touch you. That's wide open. And you barely touch rim? Okay, cool. Okay, now that's the stuff you do see. Take a look at what you don't see. Now, this was Scottie giving the ball to Davion inexplicably, and I don't understand why. And Davion trying to cook air. Watch this. I'm going to slow this down just so you can see the shot clock is at 6 right now. Okay, you're a point guard. You need to know time, possession, clock, okay? So he's going to try to cook Jaden Ivey, who is not a good defender by any means, can't get past him, decides to throw the ball nearly out of bounds. Like, that's not a clean pass, okay? When you pass the basketball to somebody, you got to understand, when you play with gifted playmakers and your point guard should be ideally a really good passer or at least one of your more competent ball handlers, passers, right? So when you are the point guard of the team and you are whipping the basketball at your franchise player's hands, thereby disrupting offense, you are delaying the offense. And now Scottie, I think once he gathers it, he realizes, shit, there's 2 seconds left on the clock. I need to do something with this. And it's going to force one of the most awkward plays of the night for Scottie. And he's going to force a miss. And you know what? There are guys like this that you're going to say, what a dumbass shot by Scottie. I'm going to say, what a dumbass possession by Davion Mitchell. You know, like, what do you want him to do in this case? Is he like the selfish thing to do would be to whip it at RJ Barrett and say, here, you take the turnover, you take the missed shot. No, Scottie's not going to do that. But you throw the ball at someone's hands with 3 seconds to go. You throw it out of their shooting pocket, thereby disrupting the advantage that all your little dribbling with the basketball like a toddler even had for the offense. I'm sorry. This is the type of shit you will never see a really good point guard ever do. You can't find me a single play of Jason Kidd in 15 years, 17 years, however the hell long he played, of him doing that shit to anybody. Okay? This is a great pass by Scottie Barnes to RJ Barrett. Right in his hands. Scottie Barnes played football. Can you tell? Perfect. Leads him right into that pass. Scottie's been struggling with some of his passing accuracy as well. He says it's because of the goggles, depth, acuity, all that stuff. But yeah, he's been a little bit off so far. So nice to see him throw one on target. Now, this, yeah, I could live without this. This is an entire possession. Nobody touched the ball but Davion. He dribbled it up the court. We're at 18 seconds right now. I'm just going to count it out. 17, 16, fuck out of here. You know, it's just like you take a possession like this. First of all, the spacing is atrocious. Now, why not? Like, you need to do what Jamal Shed would do in this situation, which is attack Tobias Harris's hip, collapse the defense, get a paint touch, and get it to Jakob, right? Or drive middle, suck in Siakam's defender, Barnes's defender, and then whip it out to Scottie. That's how offense is played. This shit is freaking, like, this is just terrible basketball. Like, you're not a good finisher. You finish less than 25%. Like, I don't know. What are Davion Mitchell's, like, at rim percentages? Like 35% on layups? That's not a good shot. That's 2 points and you can't hit them. So unless you're wide open, I don't want you scoring. I definitely don't want you attacking set half court defenses. You do this in the full court. This is crazy. All right. Well, RJ Barrett loses his man, and this won't be the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, sixth time, seventh time, eighth time. I think I counted 12 times, 13 times, 14 times. I think it might have been 20 times where RJ Barrett lost a corner shooter in this game. And this time he's going to pay for it because Tim Hardaway Jr. may not be Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, but he's a really good shooter, and he does not need this much space. Acting like he's fucking Davion Mitchell over here, he's not. Okay, you got to close out, and you got to find shooters in the corner. Like, that's just crazy. Now, this is great effort by Scottie and Chris Boucher just to keep this basketball alive, and this is how they racked up all those offensive rebounds. Is Scottie just relentlessly attacking the rim. Here's Chris Boucher. He's going to put it up. He can't get it. Scottie beats 3 Pistons. Glasses are nearly falling off his face. Manages to not go out of bounds. He's going to throw it to Davion Mitchell because guess why fucking Davion Mitchell is open? He's open because the defense wants him to be open. Dear Darko Rajakovic, hear me and hear me well. You can't play this guy. He's not playable. Play literally anybody. Okay? Play Mogbo. He does stuff for you. Play Shed. He gets into the paint. You cannot play a non-scorer in today's NBA. You just can't, because this is always going to happen. Jakob is going to be doubled. Battle is going to be stopped. And Mitchell's going to be open every single time because the defense is not stupid. They see his percentages. And by the way, his percentages went down today. I didn't think 28% from 3 was going to go down, but apparently it's going to go down. And it's going to go down, and it's going to keep going down, and keep going down until he's shooting like 8% from 3. Okay? Sorry. It makes me so mad to watch this because you realize they lost by 2, and any one of these things that you clean up saves you this game. That's the frustrating part. Now, we're going a little positive negative here. Take a look at this whipped pass from Davion Mitchell. Once again, I said, okay, let me just make sure that I'm not crazy here. Davion Mitchell is whipping this to the referee. That was heading for Mark Davis. Thankfully, by some miracle, Jamison Battle is going to grab this. And he is going to beat Tim Hardaway Jr., who is, by the way, a pylon, and score on a double team with the left hand. That was funky, right? Now, if you're going to say, Rob, why are you supporting that shot, but you weren't supporting the other shot? Well, there's not 14 seconds left on the shot clock, and he didn't dribble out this whole fucking possession. That's why I support it, because the clock is down, and he had to take this shot. Or if he was maybe a little bit more gifted passer, he could have whipped this over to Scottie for a set shot. You know, like when you suck the air out of the basketball, when you dribble the air out of the basketball and then you throw it to somebody with 5 seconds to go, you are putting that person in a very inefficient spot. That means you, if you are a talentless offensive team, if you are a talent deficient offensive team, you must run. And it is impossible to run when the guy you keep giving it to bring it up the court keeps crawling it up the court. It's so frustrating. I do not understand it. It's almost like Davion Mitchell and Darko Rajakovic have an implicit understanding that they are tanking this season because there's no other reason to explain how this guy plays as much as he does. Okay, now watch this beautiful interception by Chris Boucher. Nobody should have any. Chris Boucher getting the interception, and then Chris Boucher getting the offensive rebound. Man, what a hustle performance for him, you know? Okay, talk about mistakes. Now you're down late in the game, and you're starting to see it, and here's Ochai Agbaji taking the 3. Another offensive rebound. Scottie and Jonathan Mogbo both go for it. And this one just rolls off his hand. Okay. Was it a little off target? Yes. It was a contested pass. Maybe Mogbo needs to find the open shooter at the top. Who is the open shooter at the top? There's no open shoot. Okay. It's Jamal Shed. So maybe right here, if Jonathan Mogbo throws it out to Jamal Shed, but it's like, is Jamal Shed a shooter? No. Ochai is the shooter. So J-Mo is doing the right thing, but, you know, credit to Ron Holland, who, you know what? I don't know. I feel like That's tough. It's like it's a collective turnover. You know what I mean? Like, yes, Jonathan Mogbo gets the turnover. Yes, Ochai Abaji probably should have caught it. Yes, the pass should have probably been a little bit more on target. I don't know. There's a lot. Okay, a play like this is also going to haunt you. Okay, I believe this is a Scottie miss. Okay. Okay. This is Scottie going to go downhill. And he's going to find a cutting Jamal Shed, who unfortunately just gets blocked at the rim by Isaiah Stewart. So it's like you cannot set up a guy any more perfectly than this. But unfortunately, Jamal Shed is vertically challenged, and that's just it. You know what I mean? So it's just like you're moving the pieces around. If that's Grady Dick, that's a layup. If that's RJ Barrett, that's probably a layup. So in most cases, it's just you constantly having non-scorers on the court, and you're finding them in positions to score, which are normal positions to score for just about everyone but them, right? This is a backbreaker of backbreakers. And I have a feeling this is going to be a defensive breakdown, but let's just see what happens here. Let me slow this down 25%. Okay. So Davion Mitchell with the great pressure here on Jaden Ivey. Fantastic, right? Ivey picks up his dribble here. Passes to Ron Holland. Holland is going to attack Boucher. And here's RJ Barrett. What are you doing? Are you a shot blocker? No. Have you blocked 2 shots all season? No. But your man is wide open in the weak side corner and you don't see him. That's the difference. It's okay to be here, but it's not okay to lose your man, because I'll tell you what's going to happen in a playoff series. If you ever get to the playoffs, which at this point looks very unlikely, is that corner shooter that you think is in the corner is going to literally relocate to the top, and you're going to lose him completely. So this is RJ just being really focused on the basketball, and this is a very, very negative play. And this is the Raptors just doing this. And that's funny, because you know what? I'll tell you right now, if the clock is not down, wait, hold on. Where was it? We're at 7-6. Okay. My bad. I stand corrected. That was a different play. Like if Stewart tips this over to Hardaway, that's a 3, right? We can agree that Hardaway is the best shooter on the court right now for the Pistons, and he's too open. He's too open, and he's open because he's RJ's man, right? It's a part of it. Like you see this a lot with RJ Barrett, and yeah. But anyways, that play is probably not on RJ Barrett so much as the finality of it is on Jakob Poeltl getting dusted on the offensive rebound. This was the backbreaker. This, I can honestly say I've watched basketball for a very long time. I think I might have seen this once. Jakob Poeltl with the very slick, almost got away with it. They called the foul on Stewart, and then when they showed the replay in arena, they overturned it. Okay, I could do without this, but he was in a short clock scenario. Part of the reason he was in a short clock scenario was him. But here he's going to attack Tobias Harris, gets to the rim, and he just throws it above the backboard. Really tough. Really tough. Now, this is some really great defense from Davion Mitchell and Jakob Poeltl together. Davion with the pressure, which forces the delayed release here. I believe that's Marcus Sasser. No, that's Jaden Ivey. And boom, there's the block. Really tough, man. To stay in front of Jaden Ivey is no picnic. There are very few guards who can do it. So kudos to Davion Mitchell. And once again, you know that corner shooter they didn't find the last time? Well, they're going to find him this time. And once again, RJ Barrett. Now, I believe in sinking into the gap. I do, right? But not when you already have help, Like, you're way overloaded right now. Now, the difference between Scottie and RJ right now is two things. Number one is Scottie will recover out to number 12. Like, if this pass goes out, he'll be able to recover in time. RJ is going to get sucked into this drive. Just watch. So he's just waving at the basketball. Do you think an NBA shooter needs this much space? Like, you're so late. Tim Hardaway Jr. again, and the score was 90-93. How much do you think a play like that breaks your back? Right? Now, this is like with the seventh time in the fourth quarter that RJ Barrett's going to fall asleep. But watch this. I mean, this is fucking egregious. Like, this is the most egregious. I mean, losing corner shooters is another thing. Losing a guy like the way he does here is crazy. Now, Scottie is going to, I don't know what the hell happened here. Does he get fouled? Did he lose his mind? Did he step on Jakob's foot? Like, what the hell? I've never seen a professional basketball player miss what looks like pretty much an open layup. Hold on. Let me slow that down. Stewart pushes Jakob Poeltl into Scottie Barnes and gets away with it right in front of the referee. That's insane. What? I didn't see that in real time. Hang on. This is why we do game film. Hold on. Wow. Yo, Isaiah Stewart's getting away with murder here. Yeah, you can see it. He gets pushed into him. My bad. Sorry, Scottie. My bad. Okay. Now here comes transition defense. Now you're down numbers. It's worth saying you are down numbers. So everything I'm about to say is like it's factoring in. But the number one goal of a transition defense is to find the ball, right? And watch RJ's man cut behind him. Now, you're not doing anything right now if you're RJ Barrett. You're not stopping the ball because you're way too far out. But all you have to do right now is stop Asar Thompson, who is sprinting right behind you. You're sprinting with him. You're sprinting with him. You're sprinting with him. And once again, you are going to get back cut. And Asar Thompson is not a dumbass. See, Asar is going to spot that RJ is sleeping, and he just cuts behind him. Who are you guarding, RJ Barrett? How could you let this happen? This is the game on the line. I mean, this is the final 3 minutes. What the fuck are we doing here? And to not even contest this is nuts. It's just insane. Sorry, it's very painful to know that an NBA defender can just lose a guy like this and have no depth, no court perception, no motor to even stop this. Even when you you can't fall asleep like this on the court. You just can't. I'm sorry. You can't. Okay? You're basically making yourself fucking unplayable here. Now, I have a lot of issues with this play. And not because Davion missed. I don't care that Davion missed. I expect Davion to miss fucking 85% of the shots that he takes. That's not my issue with this. My issue is, what are you doing, Scottie Barnes, and what are you doing, RJ Barrett, letting him basically go one-on-one when you're up 2 with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go against Isaiah Stewart? You think that's a favorable matchup? As a huge dude who can actually guard some wings going up against a undynamic guard who cannot shoot and basically has one chance, one prayer to go right to the basket and bait a foul. And sure, you can say, like, if he makes this, he seems like a hero. I don't want Davion Mitchell going against a half-court offense attacking anybody. I just don't. I don't trust him. There's a better shot there for literally anybody. You are like RJ Barrett has got his hands up in the corner. He's wide open. Jamison Battle is wide open. You got 5 seconds on the clock. You could easily flick this back to one of those two shooters. The Pistons have completely given up defensively. I mean, let's see when they give up defensively. They've given up here. RJ is wide open here. You skip past this. You could potentially go like into Asar Thompson potentially and whip this around to Jamison Battle. There's a lot of things that a really good point guard would do here, but trying to take this shot over Isaiah Stewart is just, it's a low value outcome. At best, it's a 50-50 shot. That's not high value offense. Okay. Now this is crazy. Okay. I gotta say this. 49 seconds to go. The final few plays. Let's just take a look at this. Let's not, there's 3 plays to go. Is RJ Barrett is gonna cook. Okay. Because that's what RJ does. He cooks. And he's gonna miss the rim. Now, is that a foul? No, doesn't even get touched. Okay, so that's tough. That's really tough. And the next play, Jamison Battle and Davion Mitchell do not communicate this, and that is really tough. Again, you cannot let a guy just get past you. And Scottie is tagging the roller here, but Scottie is smart enough. He needs to know nobody's back here. Now you go, Scottie. You cannot let this happen. Okay. Scottie, Davion, Jamison, this is a massive miscommunication by everybody. Now, if Scottie recovers, boom goes, you're out to number 9, who I think is Asar Thompson, which is like, you might as well just abandon him. He's not a great shooter. So it's just like the last thing you could do in this moment is give up a layup. And it's not even like they had an advantage. You got 3 back. They had 2 back. How the hell? Yeah, it's on Jamison, man. Actually, I want to say that's on Jamison and Davion. Because right now, Scottie and Davion need to converge. Like, I would say this is on Scottie and Davion. Scottie, Davion, and Jamison. It's on them. Okay. It's on them to communicate this. Someone says, I got ball, I got Stu, I got him, Like, you cannot gamble that Jamison Battle is going to be able to steal this. And you just need to play fundamental sound defense. You're tied. It's on the road, 40. Going into overtime is not necessarily an advantage. You played a game last night. They didn't. So this just feels like a really, just a mental mistake from a team that probably was running on fumes at that point. And then this happened. And let me just mute this so that it doesn't get. This is the final play. This is Ochai Abaji off the dribble. Good defense, better offense. Really, like, I mean, you can't really say this is terrible defense. I mean, they're similar sized players, and I think he does a pretty good job contesting there. Could Scottie have maybe offered a little bit of help, given that he's basically playing one man zone in the paint and they're playing 5 out? Like, I don't know. Sure. Maybe Scottie needs to offer some help here, right? Like, does it help at all? I don't know. Like, being aware of the clock is important. With 1 second to go, there isn't really a chance for an offensive rebound. This is where I say sometimes, like, it's the small things, right? It really is. Sometimes it's just, peripheral vision. Where's your peripheral vision, right? So, okay. If we're not going to have call-ins, that's totally cool. I'm perfectly fine with it. We got 350 people in here. We got a couple super chats. Let's get to some super chats here. All right. ZiggsawPuzzle. Happy 65th birthday. Enjoy that retirement. Aw, that's so nice of you. Is that nice of you, or that's just mean? That's mean spirited, man. I'm not 65. I'm not even 40. Come on. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And thank you for all your support on the panel, on here. That's very nice of you. Cast 2929, always the first commenter in our chat almost every single time I look at our live stream. Once it goes live, he's salute. That's so nice. Happy birthday, Rob, #1 Raptors content creator. Appreciate you, man. Long journey ahead. Springer saying happy birthday, Rob. Really appreciate all the time and effort you put into your videos. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you guys for making the past 2 months like one of the best months spans, 2-month spans of, yeah. Okay, let's talk to Recruiter Dude. Always a pleasure. Recruiter Dude, what up, man?
Happy birthday, brother. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Appreciate the breakdown. Um, I'm sort of like at a loss for words. Like I know it's very dangerous to have expectations for for any games with how depleted how depleted we are and shorthanded, etc. But like I was I was foolhardy. Like I thought like today's gonna be a win. Like today's gonna be
Me
just like
too.
you were in the beginning of the live. Like it's your birthday. For me, it was just like, man, like today's got to be the day that we have our first road win. Has to be. And it looked like they really, really wanted it. And
Mm.
just a lot of dumbass plays and just disgusting half court offense management. And I don't know, man. I mean, like we play the Pelicans on Wednesday, and then you have the two Heat games. Like, if you can't get any W's there, like I think the season's done. I don't think it's premature to say that because at that point you're like what 4-18 or something.
Well, we're 4-14 right now, right? And we've got wow. Okay, this gets tough. Okay, so we had Detroit, and we have no wait. We've lost 2 to Detroit. We get New Orleans next. New Orleans is starting to play weirdly a little bit better, and then we have Miami. So the problem with that is, it always comes down to when you play teams. It's not who you play, it's when you play them, right? So you play the Sixers right now, or do you play the Sixers maybe when they figure it out later in the year? I think that the Heat have really figured something out over the last couple weeks. Like they've been much better. Jimmy Butler's on a bit of a 30 game streak. So, 30-point streak. Bam's playing a little bit better. I think those are going to be losses. So really, you win in New Orleans and you lose 2 in Miami,
I
basically.
don't even think I don't even think New Orleans is Dejounte's coming. I mean, he hasn't been great this year, but Dejounte's gonna probably play Wednesday, and he probably like has something to say. Like, there's just
Mhm.
nothing. There's just no easy wins. Period. None.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to get like all down and but oh, man, you cannot lose today's game. Like you can't lose that game. Like the narrative is now kind of like tilting. That was a that was like a monumental loss. Like
I agree with you
that took my
completely.
that took my breath away. Sorry to keep repeating myself. Like,
No. I
holy.
agree with you completely. Look, I said it a few weeks, not a few weeks ago. I said it a few days ago when they won that game against Minnesota. That Detroit is a must win. Now that's before I
Yeah.
knew Cade Cunningham was going to be out. Cade, I don't know. I'm mixed on what he would have done, wouldn't have done, etc. I'm positive that having Emmanuel quickly would have helped. I'm positive that having us being a little bit more healthy would have helped. But when you look at their roster and you look at our roster, do you see the gap? I'm talking end of bench talent. I'm not necessarily even talking about the Mogbo versus Isaiah Stewart because I'll take Mogbo 10 times out of 10. I'm talking about like the abundance of just solid vet guys, just guys who know how to play the game. Malik Beasley, Tim
I was
Hardaway
just gonna
Jr.
say Beasley did us a huge favor by like what like for what was he?
Well, he
Yeah.
he hit his first 3 threes, and then he just went 0 for whatever, like the rest of the game. Yeah, I'd like to think that Scotty got into his head a little bit, but that was a really tough, you know, that was you're right. No, this was a winnable game. This was 100% a winnable game, and the idea that you blow it in such ways. Now I'm curious, did you catch all of the clips that we shared? Like, did you catch most of that live? Like when you were watching it, did you see most of the stuff that we just broke down in the film breakdown, or is this did it help to see it slowed down? Hello, I think we might have lost Recruiter Dude. Feel free to call back if you because I can't hear you. Okay, Parker, you're up next. Turn your mic on, please. Hey, Parker, how are you?
Hey, I just wanted to say that I'm really happy that we have Scottie Barnes back right now.
Hmm.
It's great. Even though we're losing these games, I don't really care that much as long as we're seeing growth. But it's great to see him back. I hope we can get IQ back soon.
Yeah, that would be great. It would be very important for the Raptors' key players, Grady, RJ, Scottie, IQ, to really build some chemistry and learn to play with each other, because that's one thing people aren't talking about, is that when all these guys do get back healthy, there will be another adjustment curve on just learning to play together. And you're probably going to drop games then trying to learn to play together. So that's why it kind of sucks that the Raptors started out so injury bitten. But yes, you're right. It has been fantastic to see Scottie back. I don't think he's played his best basketball yet, but I'm very interested to see what his numbers on the season will look like after tonight.
Yeah. Also, I can't wait for Kelly Olynyk to come back. It's been forever since I've seen him play.
Yeah, he would help tremendously with the spacing, because you're constantly challenged with the spacing. And it seems like the Raptors are married to this idea that Davion Mitchell must play basketball for the Raptors. And I don't know why, but sure, if he's going to play, a big who can actually stretch the court is going to be of great service. I'm a little bit torn though, because now I'm like, where does he fit? Right? You've played without him. Bruno Fernando has been competent. Jonathan Mogbo has been very good, especially the last few games. He's been great. The first few games, he was fantastic. So now you're looking at Jonathan Mogbo, and you're like, is Jonathan Mogbo the 3? Then where does Jamison Battle fit? Right? So it's like, you can't play Kelly with, so it's like, who gets bumped out is kind of my question, right? Like, Bruno Fernando has been really serviceable for the Raptors. He's probably going to get waived. So it's almost like your worst player is probably, I don't know, who do you think is the worst player on the team?
That's kind of hard. I don't know.
Hmm.
It's probably between Davion and Bruno.
It probably is. Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't mind the Raptors doing a 2-for-1 type of consolidation trade, because I'm perfectly comfortable with where this team is from roster spots 18 to 13. Perfectly comfortable. And I'm pretty comfortable with where they are from roster spots 12 through maybe 8. I just don't like the rest of their roster. Like, I feel like their second option, third option, fourth option, fifth option, sixth option, seventh option, eighth option are just kind of like, that's where I feel like there's a gap. They're losing these games partially there, but we'll see when they're healthy. Maybe, Emmanuel Quickley has taken a major step. I suspect he has. And we really haven't gotten a chance to see him like healthy and in rhythm with this team. So yeah. Anyways, any final thoughts, man?
No.
All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you calling in.
Bye.
Cheers. Okay, we've got 2 callers. Sorry, recruiter dude, your mic wasn't working. So yeah, if you want to call back, if you still have some more stuff to say, you can definitely call in. Let's bring on Michael Smith, and then we'll bring on your goat. Michael, what's going on? How are you? Long time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. I know. I just it's always the late nights. I get too tired to call in, but I'm kind of inspired tonight, because this loss for me, it doesn't matter. Like, this for me this season, the wins and losses don't matter, because the team is growing. They're like a young team, and we always think that a team has to lose in the playoffs to learn how to win, but they also have to do that in regular season. So, some of these losses in the long run are going to teach them how not to lose and how to win, right? And so, so for me, I mean, of course, take this game in isolation. And of course, it's frustrating to lose, but in the long run, for a team at this point in their development, if this was 3 years from now, then yeah, this loss would be terrible. But for a team at this point in their development, it doesn't matter. Like, it's probably, if they won it, great, but them losing it a close game, for me, isn't that big of a deal. I mean, if I was a coach, I'd be upset, and the film you broke down is amazing, and this is one reason I really love your stuff, is because I'm learning so much about basketball. I've been a fan for a million years, but I never played, even though it's funny, you can't tell I'm 6'6", but I'm actually terrible at basketball.
We met.
Yeah, we met. Because I have a background in film. I love film. And I came out to your the film festival and saw some great films. Yeah, but
I was somewhat taken aback. I was like, this dude is huge.
I know. But the funny thing is, I can't dribble, I can't shoot, and I can't pass. So it's I really can't play.
I'll ship you a Davion Mitchell jersey.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably my thing. Actually, the funny thing is, I went to New York once, and I stayed with some friends in Long Island, and the dad was hilarious. He gave me a Knicks sweater, and he introduced me to some of his friends and said I had played. I got a 30-second shift in like 4 years ago.
Wow.
It was pretty funny, and one
Yeah.
of his friends bought it for about a minute, and then it all cleared up. But yeah, it's but I love the game. Like it's just I love it. It's my favorite. It really has taken over my game. But because I never played it, I don't really know the intricacies of all the plays and stuff. So I really appreciate all the stuff you do to teach, because I've learned so much in the past couple of seasons, and that's coming from someone who's watched the Raptors since whatever it is, 96 or their first year, right? So
Wow.
I really appreciate it.
That's really meaningful to know.
Yeah.
What did you make of, like, did you at any point, if I told you at the beginning of the fourth quarter the Raptors were going to lose this, would you have believed me?
I think so. I think so. I mean, I could kind of tell the momentum shifting a little bit. Like, and I saw some of those plays that you showed in live, and I was like, oh man, that's not good. Like RJ Barrett, I mean, I love him, he's Torontonian and stuff, but like he does kind of get tunnel vision sometimes on offense, and he just sometimes thinks he plays hero ball, and it's not really what they need. Like if he could learn how to pass out of some of those, when he's cut off going to the net, and he kind of loses momentum, and he puts up these wild shots. If he was able to learn how to pass out of those a bit more, I think he would become a better player. But
I think sometimes he lacks the vision, so he makes up his mind 2 seconds before he starts to make his move, right? So whereas
Exactly.
a lot of players, like a lot of gifted players, you'll see like a Jokic, they're just scanning for the defense to shift so that they can find the opening, which means they're open always to changing their mind. They think they're going to score, but then the defense starts to cheat off a corner shooter, and they're like, yeah, I was going to score, but now I'm going to do this instead. Whereas RJ, it's almost like he almost picks his possessions of like, okay, this is my passing possession, this is my scoring possession. I have been generally more impressed with RJ's playmaking this year than I have in any year prior to this.
For
It,
sure.
it may be shocking, but like he was significantly worse than this in New York. What has been
Sure.
somewhat atrocious is his shooting efficiency and just overall his shot. I think his defense has also been terrible. So it's really a combination of those three things. His decision making sometimes is very poor. His team defensive schemes and his just individual defense is just not great. There's not a single position on the court where I feel he is an above average defender or even an average defender. He is literally below average in every place on the court. You can't put him anywhere and he's good. You can't throw him on a corner shooter and say, okay, just keep your eye on that guy. Don't lose him. You can't do that. You can't put him near the basket because he's not a shot blocker. You can't have him contesting. You don't trust him in transition. Is really a matter of, like playing 4-on-5 sometimes with him defensively. And he's just got to compete. This has got to be a motor thing. He's very strong. Occasionally he can bump a guy off their spot if they're smaller in the post. But other than that, unless the guy's right in front of him, and basically it's funny because it's like the same thing with offense. If it's right in front of him, he's fine. When it's not right in front of him, he loses it. So I think this is just a lot of like focus, motor, attention to detail, will, desire, a lot of words. Yeah. Anyways, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, the overall arch for me in this season is that no matter what happens, they're gonna not have a great record at the end of the season, because there are a lot of, for people who are worried about tanking, it's like they don't have to try to tank because they're not a good team, and they have a lot of losses ahead of them, but they also have some good wins ahead of them. And I think them not getting blown out in many games is a great sign, because they're competing. Even when all the starters were out, they still played really well, and they never really got embarrassed. And I think for me, that is just such a great sign. And it's so no matter what happens, we're going to end up with a pretty decent draft pick. Hopefully we'll be in the lottery, and we'll have a chance at the number one. And as we've seen with the way it's set, I mean, we could get first overall. But the great thing is, no matter what draft pick we have, we got Masai using it, right? So I mean, we're gonna end it. As you told us, it's gonna be a deep draft. So, it'd be great to get Cooper Flag, of course, but I'm sure there's some players in the draft who I personally don't know of. I don't follow the draft too closely, but I'm sure we're gonna end up with a really good player, and I mean, hopefully, so I'm not too worried about that, because we're on course to have a bad record. I mean, there's no way.
I'll make a challenge to the community here. If y'all get this video over 250 likes, 250 likes, that's a pretty low goal. Okay, we get 250 likes all the time, but 250 likes. No, let me make this. If you make it 300 likes, I promise tomorrow I will do a film breakdown for prospects 1 through 10 in the 2025 draft.
That would be very cool.
Just, so we can all be really informed about who these players are, and I'll give you my detailed analysis, because I've been doing a lot of studying on this draft. I've been very, it's weird. I wrap up these lives, and then I'm very restless, because these lives, weirdly enough, they don't make me sleepy. They actually make me pretty energetic.
Oh, I can see that.
Then I, and then I'll go and I'll be like, okay, let me watch 40 minutes of this player play, or let me watch this game that this player just played. I'm really amped about this draft, just because I love great basketball. It's not only Raptor specific. It's, because as an NBA analyst and as someone who talks about the game on various platforms, I have to know about players, all players on all teams. I need to know every night what's happening. I need to know what happened in, the Miami Dallas game yesterday, because I was on the panel today. It's things like that. Like, I need to know about everything. So when it comes to the draft, it's just like knowing about who these players are at this stage really gives you a really educated perspective on who they'll be later. It's a big reason why I was so high on Dyson Daniels. I heard about him when he was 16 years old. So I followed him throughout, and I was like, okay, this is where this was. This is what this is. That thing that was weak then is stronger now. And that's why, like, a lot of people, they do this thing where a lot of people in the media, what they do is they do like cram scouting. So right before the draft, they listen to a podcast about who Nolan Traore is, who Cooper Flag is. They pick up like 2-3 talking points, and then they're like, now I know. Now I'm caught up. I'm good, But you're not. You're just parroting, repeating what somebody else said. And now you're just confused because you don't have the firsthand information. So it's very, very important to actually break down the tape. And I encourage anybody, because we're all basketball fans, apparently, right? All of us. We must be basketball fans. If we're listening to Pantera Basketball, we must be basketball fans. Trust me, guys. Go watch Rutgers games for yourselves, so that it's not just a one-way conversation when I start talking about Dylan Harper being really good or Ace Bailey not being as good as some people think. We can have a two-way conversation, and we can, like, people can be like, this is what I noticed with Ace Bailey, and then I can be like, but this is what I noticed with Ace Bailey. And it's great when the community works on back and forth. That's when it's great. Anyways, man, Michael, thanks a lot for calling.
Yeah,
no really problem. Appreciate it.
Great talking to you. And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. Cheers.
All right. Talk soon. Bye.
See ya. Okay, we got a lot of callers queued up here. We got Coach Mo. Coach Mo's coming on soon. We got Your Goat, and we're gonna bring on Your Goat. Then we're gonna bring on Coach Mo. Then we're gonna bring on Muhammad. Okay, Your Goat, what's going on?
Yo, what's good, bro? How you doing?
Big W for you. I got a question for you. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I be helping out other people. Like,
okay, never mind. I came across the basketball YouTube channel, and I thought it was your voice, and I was like, nah, way. And it was really funny too. So I was like, maybe it is him. Anyways,
speaking of my boy, sorry if it sounds bad. I went to a soccer game yesterday. I'm completely cooked. So yeah.
Cool. What'd you see in this game, man? Your Detroit Pistons won. Congratulations. You guys are not the worst team in the league this year. You're good.
Listen, like, a lot of people, when I talk to them about the Pistons, they're always like, oh, I feel like the Pistons can be a playoff team and this and that. I'm like, no, we're not a playoff team yet. I think we're barely a play-in team.
Have some faith, Your Goat.
Here's the thing, right? I'm very realistic. So I see the problems in our defense and offense, and no, we're not going to make the playoffs with what we.
Bro, you got your 12th ranked defense.
No, I know. Our defense is really good. Like, I'm surprised with.
And you just got back your best defender.
No, yeah. I know, but we still have Tobias Harris in our team, chucking up shots, being inefficient. And then we got
Tobias the terrorist for real.
No, yeah, Tobias Harris is horrible. You know what I'm saying? I'm just happy we're not a joke this year. That's what my mindset was coming into this year. I don't want us to be a joke. I want us to be competitive, which we have been. But speaking of this game, it was a good, tough, competitive game. I just feel like for y'all, Davion Mitchell killed the game for y'all. Davion Mitchell really just killed the momentum y'all had. I remember it was like a late first, like early second, y'all were having that great run, right? If I'm not mistaken. And then Davion Mitchell comes in the game with, I think his offensive IQ is horrible. Like I really do not like what he does on the floor, like how he passes the ball, how his shot. If y'all played Jonathan Mogbo or Jamal Shedmore, it would have been a much better game for y'all. I really did not like how Davion Mitchell played. RJ Barrett's defense was, I mean, I saw it when you were breaking everything down. Every single time there was a rebound, he was not guarding his man, or he was just not doing that. In terms of for us, our shooters didn't really perform that well, like Tim Hardaway Jr., Malik Beasley. Malik Beasley really got destroyed after what Scottie did to him. I remember watching. I'm like, come on, Malik, you gonna let him do you like that? And then he was just off it. So it was a good balanced game from both teams. I feel like Pistons, we came out with a good effort. Our defense was amazing. Our offense was shaky. You guys, I feel like you guys played well. Scottie had an amazing game. I liked how he played. We couldn't score against Scottie at all. Like he was just locked down the entire game. I was frustrated. But yeah, it's just it was a good tough game. But yeah,
it was really tough. I think y'all can actually make the play-in for sure.
Yeah, I think we can make the play-in, but people
and I think if Asar, like I know some people around Asar like pretty well, and he's really been putting in the work to get the rehab, and like I really have a lot of faith in this kid that he's going to bounce back from the offensive woes that he showed last year. Love how he moves around the court. I think he's going to be a pretty good player for y'all. So
I think he's super smart and he gets into a lot of good positions in the offense, but he couldn't really finish last year. That was the problem. He gets into good positions in the offense, and he wouldn't really be able to finish that shot. But this year, I think hopefully he can get better at doing that because he's been working on his shot and that. But listen, in terms of you guys, I mean, you guys have a lot of injuries and a lot of talented players are out. You know, the team that y'all put against us wasn't really talented, you know? And I think that was the difference. I think you even said it yourself. There was a huge talent drop off. But like, if we're being real, if you guys had all your healthy players, you guys are. I like the when you guys incorporate the injury players into the roster. I like it. I want to see how you guys play with all of your players healthy. I would like to see that. But yeah, I mean,
To anyone who missed it, OG Anunoby had 38 points tonight.
That's crazy. That he balled out.
He balled out.
My friend put I think it was like under 18 points for OG. I know he's sick right now. He's sick. But yeah, well, what you think of Asar and Ron Holland? Because I think I'm high on both of them. Like I really like them. Their defensive.
I like Asar a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree. I
think Ron's cool. Like I mean, Ron was mocked as high as second, third early in the draft cycle. I do think y'all will probably regret not taking a guy like Jared McCain, maybe Dalton Connect. I think there would have been like, you know, some sense to pick those guys early. I even like a guy like Jacoby Walter. You know, five might have been really high. I also would have potentially, you know, because I don't really trust Jalen Duren's defense that much. I really might have even considered going Eve Misi or, you know, Zach Edey.
I'm not mad at that because honestly, Jalen Duren has been so bad on defense. Like, Beef Stew has been good on defense, and Paul Reed is just So whenever like it's Jalen Duren and then Paul Reed comes into the game, we automatically like starting losing the game. But with Ron Holland, like I understand we should have taken a score because the archetype of player that Ron Holland is, we kind of already have it in Asar Thompson, and he's a way smarter, better player in my opinion.
Yeah, he's a better playmaker for sure. And I mean, if you have both of them next to Cade, right, like potentially they can together sort of make up for some of the defensive woes.
Yeah,
I've been more impressed with Cade this year than I have in any previous year. I think just generally speaking, he's been a little bit more efficient. I still don't love the turnovers. I still think,
I agree.
he's quarterbacking one of the 6 worst offenses in the NBA.
Mhm.
And it's questionable, why is it so bad? Why is it still so bad? I think Jaden Ivey looked really good tonight. I think Tobias Harris has proven himself to be a starter at the NBA level for a long time. Tim Hardaway Jr. is bad-ish, but we made him look great. I think Tim Hardaway would wish that he could be guarded by RJ Barrett every single night.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic for Tim Hardaway Jr. Malik Beasley's an NBA rotation player. Like you got a lot of rotation pieces
Mhm.
now. And yeah, I honestly, if I was the Pistons this summer, I'd probably move down, get additional assets, and start stockpiling for that 2025 draft. I mean, it's like very weird
Yeah.
Pistons fashion that y'all not going to have a great draft pick in one of the best drafts in NBA history. Like
Yep.
that's a little strange to me because you
Yeah.
could really use some of these players for sure.
Nah, we for sure can. And I mean, in terms of our rotational players, I agree with you. I just think Tobias Harris, I feel like he's our worst player on offense. I generally think he's our worst player on offense. And a lot of people might be like, Jalen Duren. Yeah, Jalen Duren plays a role on our offense. Defensively, he's horrible, but on our offense, he fits well. But Tobias Harris, I don't know what he does on the offensive court. I see Tobias Harris just in the post, not being aggressive.
Bro,
He
every
passes
time
the
you
ball
say
back.
Tobias Harris, all I'm thinking, what am I thinking?
Um,
Tobias Harris over
yeah.
me. Literally
Yeah.
every free agent
Oh,
this
yeah.
summer is just saying Tobias Harris over me.
I know,
Come on.
because he's horrible. Like honestly, like I can't stand that dude because like the last time I seen him in the Pistons uniform was 2017. He was actually a good player back then. I liked him. I wanted to keep him. But then now that he's here, I'm like, bro, get out. Like, nah, I don't want you in the Pistons. Like, bro, leave. Like, you're like, I swear, like, I know he's proven to be an NBA starter, but not anymore. After seeing how he plays, I don't think he's a starter, bro. I'm sorry. Like, he doesn't do anything on offense. His defense is okay. I mean, I literally just seen him like getting blown by like 10 times this game. So
He's pretty ass on defense. Anyways, man, any final thoughts?
My final thoughts are, well, one of them is happy birthday, Rob. Happy 65th birthday. That's what I've seen in the chat. I don't know if that's your real birthday.
It is confirmed. I am 65 years old.
I'm trying, but seriously, happy birthday. Keep on pushing out great content. I'm a Pistons fan, but I do enjoy your work a lot. I enjoy your videos, your live streams. Whenever I'm bored, I'll be watching it. You know what I'm saying? So a shout out to Clutch Tatum too in the chat. That's my boy. Shout out to Clutch Tatum. And yeah, man, just great game, fun to watch. And yeah, man, shout out to y'all, bro.
All right, peace, man.
All right,
Appreciate you.
And I'm gonna see you on chess too, eh? Don't duck me on chess. I'm goated in chess now.
You are the Tobias Harris of chess. Peace. I cut him off for real. Okay, Coach Mo, what up?
Yeah. I think I messaged these on Instagram, but you know the one we've dealt with so many injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the one player who's not going to get injured this year and book it?
Who?
You know who's never going to get hurt for us this year?
Davion Mitchell.
That guy will be available.
Is that a Charles Barkley guarantee?
That is
guarantee.
If you guys are gambling, put a bet on that. Put 0 games missed for Davion.
L gambling, no gambling.
Okay, I'm just saying. If I'm the media, I ask Darko Rajakovic why Jamal Shed only played 17 minutes tonight. I ask Darko why Mogbo only played 12 minutes tonight.
Right? Yo, that's facts.
Why?
Straight
Why?
Facts. Ochai Baji was miserable today.
Garbage.
Mobo was not. And Jamal Shed, like, I don't know what Darko is doing here. Does he like, okay, imagine you're a coach, right? And you're down 15. And then suddenly you take this dude off the court. And suddenly it's like the floodgates of your offense just open up and your team scores like 20 points. And then you put that guy back on the court. And then suddenly it's like there's a cap on the offense again and there's a lid on the basket and no one can score again. At some point, you might start to look at that guy and be like, hey, that guy might be really bad for a fucking offense.
This is not an exaggeration. If I was on an NBA court right now, they'd guard me the exact same way they guard Davion. Not at all.
They might guard you better because they'd assume that they don't know who the hell you are. And probably if you're on an NBA court, you probably can shoot.
I actually saw a lineup today where there was, I think it was Mitchell it was Mogbo, it was Jakob Poeltl, and I literally made a mental note, Scottie better start shooting threes. And that's when he went on his 3-point heater, because it's like, you're not touching the paint. It ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to Real GM because it's mad toxic in there, and I just the meltdowns are insane. And it's like, do you think Jason Tatum has played 1 second of his NBA career with this kind of spacing?
Nope. Yo, you
One
know how
second,
I
one
know Real
second of
GM
his
is
career.
mad toxic? Because they talk shit about me all the time. They bring up shit that is so untrue about me. It's nuts. There's like a complete fan fiction about me on there. I don't get it. Every time someone brings me up, there's like 85 posters who like, nah, I hate this guy. He was I don't know. Someone talked about. I remember one thread I was reading once where they said that I lied about what I studied when I was 19 years old or 18 years old. They're like, isn't that the guy that said he was studying criminology and then someone exposed him for studying like finance? And I was just like, never studied finance. I mean, I got my CFA, but that was later, and I never studied criminology. What the hell is going on? Where do people get this shit from? So yeah, that is a mad toxic place. I suggest nobody go to Real GM. It is absolutely fell off a cliff over the last 15 years.
They are absolute fucking idiots, and I get a kick out of reading some shit, but it's like, if you even say the spacing is horrible, you can't get to the paint consistently, they'll be like, no, superstars do this. I remember Giannis as an MVP lost 4 consecutive games with a pretty good team because
Facts.
Eric Bledsoe can't shoot threes.
Facts.
One guy. Also, can we just be clear? Eric Bledsoe is a much better shooter than Davion Mitchell.
Way better. He's a better shooter. He's a better shooter than Jamal Shed. He's a better shooter than Jonathan Mogbo. He's a better shooter than literally half your team.
Yeah, we have 3 guys who shoot worse. We play Bruno, he can't shoot. We play Yak, he can't shoot. We play Mogbo, he can't shoot. We play Mitchell, he can't shoot. We play Shed, he can't shoot. RJ can barely shoot. And it's like, you're telling me an MVP level player lost to us because we said, you know what? We're not guarding Bledsoe. Do you know what opposing teams are saying? We're not guarding 2 guys from 3. Guaranteed. Book it. We're not even closing out. I don't think I've ever seen a game where it was more noticeable that Jakob is literally just in Scottie's way. There was a play late in the 4th. Scottie gets 2 feet deep into the paint. He pump fakes, 2 guys jump.
Yeah.
Literally 2 guys are jumping. He has to score over 2 guys. Yak is just right there. I wish Scottie could play 1 fucking game with Jason Tatum spacing. 1 fucking game, and watch how easy he gets to the rim. Watch how easily he gets to the rim. And I wish for 1 fucking game, Jason Tatum can play with 3 non-shooters, and watch how pedestrian he looks. Watch how fucking basic he looks. Because Tatum ain't explosive. He's not athletic. That dude's lumbering to the rim with the best spacing in league history, and he's lumbering to the rim. These people are delusional and they're fucking stupid. They've never played in their life. They don't know what they're looking at.
I appreciate heated Coach Mo. It's great. And you have the Dennis thing. Okay, I'm gonna remind the chat. If y'all get this video to 300 likes, I will do a breakdown of the top 10 prospects in the 2025 draft. And honestly, after a game like this, we're probably going to the top of the 2025 draft. Okay, I'm gonna be 100% real with y'all. Scottie played about I don't want to say as well as he could. He can play better than this, but he played a pretty damn good, competent game. Okay, pretty good defensively, offensively, overall. I would rate this game a 7.5, 8 out of 10. He's still coming back from the goggle injury, whatever. Sorry, not the goggle injury, the eye injury. So I just think like RJ on the road has been really bad. Like
the problem with RJ is, and this is the problem with RJ supporters and the Star J stuff. It is get to the rim or die. It is literally layup or die 95% of the time. That dude doesn't have a reverse pivot. That dude doesn't have a fadeaway. There is no mid-range game. If you watch RJ play and he's attacking at a standstill, here's my question to RJ fans.
Mm-hmm.
How much more difficult is Scottie's shot diet compared to RJ's?
It's way more difficult.
Scottie is
way better defender.
Scottie's doing right now, and to be fair, I don't think Scottie's qualified or ready for the shot diet he has right now, but he's the best we got.
Sure.
RJ literally only takes open threes that are generated for him, and he attacks the rim on the move. That's literally all he does.
Mm.
If you take those things away from him, good luck.
Mm.
Did you see him try to create tonight? And again, tonight the spacing was extra bad. That's why he's like, you're trying to finish over two people. And the difference with Scottie is he has that mid-range game. There's a little in-between game. Tonight's one of those games you're not getting to the rim. It's just not happening. You got to finish over two guys.
Yeah. I agree with you. I just want to give a quick shout out. I just said shout out. Wow. This game broke my brain. Okay, I want to give a quick shout out to Jared. I want to give a quick shout out to Cynthia. I want to give a quick shout out to Karen. And I want to give a quick shout out to Barb for your very generous e-transfers, birthday e-transfers. Not necessary at all, but thank you very much for doing that. That's very meaningful, and that's a very nice gesture. Okay. Jacoby Walter, Grady Dick, Emmanuel Quickley. The players who can solve these spacing issues are either on the mend, not ready, but I have questions about RJ Barrett's long-term fit on this team if he's going to continue being this ass on defense. He cannot be this bad. And the thing with Jakob, and I think what a lot of people just don't understand, is every game is like a formula to have more points than the other team, right? I'm gonna pull this off just so I can make myself a little bit bigger. But to everybody out there, hallelujah, OG Anunoby, big 40 piece. I don't think he's ever scored 40 in his life. I think I would remember that. I don't think he's ever scored 40. So that's pretty huge. That's awesome for OG. Love OG. Okay. So every single game is like a formula to scoring more points than the other team. Defensively, offensively, everything is constructed for that. Opposing teams are very happy to live with what I mentioned as low-hanging fruit. The Jakob Pertl post drives and the Davion Jakob pick and roll. What a lot of these analysts, and you and I have talked off air, you know exactly who I'm fucking targeting with my anger here. What these analysts like to tell people is that because this is working, this is good. They don't ever bother to explain why it's working. And it's working precisely because the other team did the math and they know that Davion pick and roll is never going to beat them. So what's happening, ironically, is that in order to shut down Grady permanently, like to make his life a living hell, they are willing to live with Davion pick and roll, basically, because they know that can't beat them. They think a Grady 40 piece is the formula that can beat us tonight. So let's grab this guy all night. Let's make him really just bothered. Grady has some of the toughest shots I've ever seen from a Raptor. They guard him like a star. Scottie is guarded like a star, and Grady is guarded like a star. Emmanuel Quickley above the break generally is guarded like a really good player. RJ is not really guarded like a really great player. He's guarded like a starter. He's guarded the same way I would guard Karis LeVert or Tobias Harris. He's guarded like that. And when he started putting up those big numbers, I think I started to see a little bit more of an adjustment defensively, and he predictably shit the bed. So at this point, I feel like if you don't have Emmanuel Quickley and you don't have Grady Dick out there, it's going to be very, very tough to live, especially when you compound the issue by playing so many non-shooters. Problem is, your best defenders are, like, I feel like Jamison Battle needs to start. Like, I am 100%. Jamison Battle must start.
He should have played more tonight.
He definitely should.
The entire bench should have played more tonight. All of them never played enough.
Boucher, absolutely. Mogbo, absolutely. Shed, absolutely. But Jamison Battle, especially. The reason I say that is because not only has he been surprisingly good defensively, he is a massive upgrade over RJ defensively. I don't think people understand the gap between these two players defensively. And that's a rookie out there. That's an undrafted rookie who is roughly the same size as RJ Barrett. He's an inch taller.
He's also a better closeout. He's actually better at closing out because he has an in-between game. He has a floater. RJ has to get to the rim. Like, he has to get to the rim. It's rim or die with him. You need guys, like, what's so great about Grady is he doesn't need to get to the rim. you're gonna give me the space in between. I'll take it and I'll bury you.
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, he may not be like Battle may not be people's idea of like the prototypical wing defender, which is usually a very twitchy, very long-armed, think Andrew Wiggins. That's the prototypical wing defender that people think about. But there are wing defenders that are very competent that just know angles. They're very smart. Jamison Battle offensively, defensively is just striking me as like just an incredibly smart player.
Yep.
He
how big is he?
6'8".
Really?
Yeah, he's 6'7" and a half, 6'8". Yeah, he's big.
He doesn't look that big on TV.
Well, how big does Grady look on TV?
Grady probably looks a little taller because he has that thin, long look, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Jamison Battle, I think, measured 6'7".
So they're about the same height.
Barefoot.
Him and Grady should be about the same height.
Right.
They were standing next to each other.
Yeah.
So Scottie, if you put Scottie next to Jamison and you saw them IRL, they're the same height? That seems crazy.
Scottie's taller than 6'7". Well, I'm saying in shoes. Basketball is played in shoes, right? So we're measuring height in shoes. Jamison Battle 6'8" in shoes. And Scottie's probably 6'9" and a half in shoes. Scottie and Pascal was like shoulder to shoulder.
I don't understand Darko's obsession with Mitchell. Like, he's not like, why does he need 30 minutes? He doesn't even need to, bro. You don't understand how frustrated I get watching that guy dribble the air out of the ball, knowing he's just gonna eat up 10 seconds and create absolutely no fucking advantage, and then just whip a pass that's not on target. And thanks, bro. Thanks. Thanks for wasting 10
what I
seconds.
want to know? Why do we always have this player on our team? Like every year, Fred VanVleet first, right? Then we go to a less talented version and a less efficient version in Dennis Schroeder. Then we step down to Davion Mitchell. We actually go to Malachi Flynn and then Davion Mitchell.
And
so it's just like it's like a cascading to hell. Like at this rate, the Raptors are going to sign me on a 10-day, and I'll be the worst version yet because I can't pass to save my life. Okay, it's like we have this this archetype that we just have to have on our roster, and it's just like why must this player type be on a roster?
I don't care who we have. Why is the freaking coach playing him like he's his freaking, like it's his grandson?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's tough. RJ's had some really, really good moments. Davion's had, I want to say, 3 positive games this year. But for the most part, he's been awful. People don't understand how terrible he is. Like, I'm
zero level score. Zero level score. Zero.
We're using the Sam Bassini quote, eh? Okay.
This is what he meant.
That's crazy. That is literally what he meant. He meant Scottie. He was basically telling y'all that Scottie Barnes is a 6'9" Davion Mitchell, and he is not.
Which is impossible to be a 0 level scorer at Scottie's size. It's literally impossible.
It's very difficult. Yeah, I would say. But I think, that's the thing, right? You want to grab the headlines with that. Okay. I'm gonna pull up Davion Mitchell's advanced game log so people can understand how just how bad he is by the statistics, because it is egregious. It is criminal. It is a crime against Toronto basketball. So here's Davion's advanced box score per game. Okay. I want you to focus on 2 particular statistics, which is his box plus minus.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. And
they can't
usage
be any better.
and his turnover percentage.
Ew.
Okay. He had a turnover percentage of 55.1% against the Cleveland Cavaliers with a negative 12.8 box plus minus. Okay, hold on. Let me make this a little bit bigger for people to understand how just
tag Darko. Hashtag tag Darko.
For real. Okay. So what are the positive games? Let me sort by negative to positive. Positive. Okay. He had the 1 positive game against Sacramento where we were all glowing and glazing that, oh my God, is he turning a corner? He had a relatively positive game against Boston where he shot extremely well, right? And I think we all remember that game. He didn't turn the ball over very much. But in his very positive games, look at his usage. 18%, 7.7%, 14.4%. It's usually those really bad games are coming when he's north of that mark. And here we go. His worst games, Cleveland. So back to back. So both Cleveland games have been absolutely ass, almost like identical. He like mirrored his performance back to back. The Lakers, negative 10.4 box plus minus, negative 9 box plus minus in the Minnesota game, right? You had a Charlotte game, negative 7.3, where everyone was glazing. What a great job he's doing on LaMelo Ball. He was killing you offensively, you know? And like Philly, the game we won, he was negative 7.3. And then look at the turnover percentages. Let me rank those out. He's had 4 games without a single turnover. Boston, Denver, Minnesota, and the Clippers. You're 0-4 in those games. There's 3 games with north of 45% turnover percentage. Oh my God. For a guy who does absolutely nothing with the basketball, this is mental. How can you turn the ball over this much?
Yeah. It's insane.
In terms of true shooting percentage, half his games like have been significantly horrible.
These idiot media members. Oh, Davion's this, Davion's that. If he's so good, why is he on our team?
Bro, $10 million. They said $10 million. That's why I crashed out. People are getting mad at me. They're like, why are you being so negative about Rob? Why are you being so negative about Davion? I'm like, there is a literal channel out there that purports itself to be a super analytical, deep dive type of channel. A lot of people from this community, our most common overlap is with that channel. I've actually said I respect this channel multiple times, many times, even though I've disagreed with them 100 times on everything. Okay. But to go out there to have one of my favorite analysts in fairness, like Zats is like one of my, guys that I respect. Like I respect his work. To say Davion Mitchell is worth $10 million is flagrant. It is legitimately flagrant. Like on an extension, this guy would not get a minimum on the open market. We're going to give him $10 million. Why?
Bro. You want to hear some of the takes? If you can go back and hear some of the takes on Gary Trent, I've been saying Gary Trent's a minimum, and Gary Trent will forever be a minimum from here on out. Will forever be a minimum. Anybody that gives Trent anything above the minimum, you're an idiot.
You want to know something? I didn't think Gary Trent was going to be a minimum guy last year. I thought he would get 8.
I never said that's what he's going to get. I'm saying he is worth the minimum. For what he gives you, that's a minimum player to me.
I don't think he's worth the minimum. I think he's worth at least 4 or 5. In a league where Jamal Murray can make $40 million, Gary Trent's not worth 5.
Not my problem. You overpaid him. Not my problem. You overpaid him.
No, it's fair.
Jamal
Murray's not playing better than mid-level exceptional.
Rob, if you lost Gary because somebody overpaid him and now you have Jameson Battle, do you give a shit?
No, I don't.
Exactly.
And Karen Hall, first of all, thank you for the e-transfer. Appreciate you very much. Did they say he was worth 10 million or that he would be looking for that? They said, and I quote, that he will probably be getting north of 10 million. And then somebody who I'm not going to name said, no, he'll be looking for more than that. As in 10 million is not going to be enough for Davion.
Now, what truly scares me is, why did we give Jalen McDaniels the contract we gave him? Why? Why did we give him above minimum? And why did we give him...
Yo, bro, read this comment.
10 million rupees.
Yo, just I'm so sorry.
Still an overpay.
Yo, what? What is the conversion on rupees to dollars? It's like 60 to 1. That's about just what the fuck? That's like a G League minimum. Oh shit. I'm sorry. That I think we all needed a bit of a laugh tonight. Okay. I feel like we can stop talking about our least talented players, talk a little bit about our most talented players. What do we do from here, man? Because we are legit 4-4 team, and we are heading up for some teams that we probably aren't going to beat, right?
Well,
at least some.
In fairness, if Ochai and RJ didn't decide to have 2 of the worst games of the season at the same damn time, on top of Darko losing his goddamn mind and not playing your winners tonight. I just
Yes.
think of the you know that one game with the Cavs and in the playoffs against Indiana. I think Jeff Teague talked about it, where LeBron made a comeback with the bench unit,
Mhm.
and Jeff Teague thought he was going to win. You know, it was LeBron and bench guys. Love was
Yeah.
on the bench. Irving was on the bench. I mean, god damn, why can't you just let Scottie run with the youngins? It was working. We win the game. Why do you have to bring them back? They've shown you nothing. None of them are all-star players. None of them.
Does
None
it
of them,
potentially
none of them
disrupt?
deserve to end games off just political. Maybe RJ. Ochai doesn't have to end every game. Jakob doesn't have to end every game. Mitchell doesn't have to end every game. Like, what are we doing here?
Is it possible that he was
You can have the
thinking?
worst game of your life, Rob, and get 30 minutes?
No, I hear you, but longer term thinking here, like, okay, did you catch? I know we weren't able to show it, but did you catch what Darko Rajakovic said after the Cleveland Cavaliers game? That he
No.
wishes he could. He says, "I wish we could play this team every single week. We would probably learn a lot." So, I wonder. Again, this is just me thinking out loud. I wonder if putting Scottie in these extremely offensively deficient lineups where nobody can make a pass is just forcing him to change his mind about something. Now, I had a fantastic idea about. So while I was watching the game, okay, let me just gather my thoughts here. Are you familiar with the idea that we think in languages?
Yes.
That like, okay, so what's your first language? Like, what's your first like native tongue? English?
Yes.
Okay, so you have certain associations in your childhood that link back to English. But if I was to suddenly start telling you stuff like if you in a language you don't understand, like Hindi, Serbian, Mandarin, you would have to reform your attachment to that word today from the perspective of a 35, 36-year-old, however you are, 33-year-old. So that is what I would do with Scottie, because obviously he has learned like passing and all that stuff. So it's funny when I was thinking like if you want to just trigger a different response, because I was saying in Serbian, Polako, which basically means like, like stop, right? Like just chill, like be easy a little bit, right? And then I was saying Pojuri, which means hurry. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, if you use these terms with these players who don't speak the language, they would probably have a completely different formation or thought about that. So I was just thinking that out loud. I don't know if that makes a hell of a lot of sense, but I was thinking like, can you trigger Scottie's assertiveness through repeated failures, through unassertiveness? Like Scottie's going to look back on this game and probably say, I probably should have taken over sooner. You know what I mean? Like, and at some point, you're just going to keep losing if you don't do it. If you're going to keep letting, like the most egregious play to me, 1 minute, 17 seconds, Scottie lets Davion Mitchell take that shot.
I was about to bring that up. Here's the problem. He's working. He was the hardest worker on defense, right?
Mhm.
And he was running the offense high screen and roll for a few possessions in a row. He was tired. He needed a freaking breath. He was balls out on defense, and he was orchestrating the offense literally. If you've ever played basketball and you are in the action on offense and defense, multiple trips up and down the court, I don't care if you're Rip Hamilton, you're breathing heavy. The problem was the ball went to Davion and now RJ.
That's a good point.
And Scottie, God bless him, he's doing way too much, and he wants to do everything. You physically can't do everything.
Yeah, despite what people think, there's no one player in the league who can win a game in the NBA against even remotely half decent competition by themselves. Not one. Not Jokic. Maybe Jokic is the closest thing we've ever seen to a player who can just go 5-on-1.
He gets his breath on defense. If Jokic was playing defense the way Scottie was, that dude's playing 20 minutes a game max.
He'd be dead.
He'd be soaked 5 minutes into the game, drenched. That dude's taking breaths on defense. Let's not kid ourselves.
He's for sure. He's super lazy on defense.
He's like Marc Gasol later in his career. He's where he needs to be, and he has great hands. But he's not on the top of the list of miles run a game.
100%. Yeah. I don't know, man. You take losses like this, you pile them up at the end of the year. If you do decide to tank, these losses are going to count. They're really going to count. And I'm telling you, the more I dig into this draft, and I've been digging a long time, we're talking like months and months now of looking into Cooper Flag film, looking into Ace Bailey film. I'm just like, I really can't get mad at this outcome. Like, this was a super, super important game against a team that you will almost definitely be trying to catch for the play-in. 100% down the stretch. You got to beat this team. You got to catch them at some point. Now, tonight, they get a win and you get a loss, which means they go +1 over you. That is, you can't. And K didn't play. That's, narratively speaking, that completely changes.
That might have helped us tonight.
I agree. I think that could have helped us tonight.
If he had a poor shooting night, we win this game.
If he turns the ball over 7 times, we win this game. If he continues to play terrible defense, we win this game. You can only have 5 guys on the court. And, in his absence, they were able to put the ball in Jaden Ivey's hand. Try to explain this to a casual fan. They're never going to understand. They're going to be like, no, they were missing their best player. This is probably the same people who probably thought RJ Barrett helped tonight. It's just like people who don't play defense kill you both ways, right? Yep. So it's like the guy who, I don't know, like if you consider like someone who doesn't play defense, how many ways do they impact your how many ways do they impact your team? Well, number one, if they're scoring 30 points, they're probably giving up 25. So all the scoring is very, empty calories type of thing, right? Like it's not doing very much. It's just moving the score along. They give one up, they get one back. They give one up, they get one back, right? Whereas Scottie is a completely different equation. And the reason that analytics favor Scottie and they don't favor guys like Davion and RJ is because Scottie's not a one-way player. So Scottie's going to stop his guy on one end, and then he's going to go and facilitate offense or score offense on the other end, which becomes a +2, right? Whereas RJ and Davion, they're going to just trade. They're going to keep even, or they're going to be negative. So Davion's going to give up a 3. Sorry. He's going to stop a 3. And then on the other end, he's going to score nothing. And then he's going to give up a 2, and then he's going to score nothing. And then he's going to give up a 1 and 1 at the rim. You know what I mean? Like you get my point, right? Like it's just, and they're going to be net negatives at the end of the day because they don't play both ends of the court. Whereas Scottie, he's playing all sides of the court, like facilitating play, screen setting. He's everywhere. He's deflecting passes. He's finding early transition. Like how easy a pass, like almost all of RJ's makes tonight were, I'm assuming, on Scottie passes, with the exception of 2. Like he got him the easiest looks of his life. He got Jamal Shed the easiest, finish at the rim. He just couldn't finish. Jonathan Mogbo got, again, I like Jonathan Mogbo a lot. The youth on this team is a completely different story. And I wonder if the Raptors internally have their own list and say, these are the transitional pieces that we got back in trades that we had to take, that we're trying to build up their value. Guys like Bruce Brown, RJ Barrett, Davion Mitchell, etc. Maybe even Kelly Olynyk, maybe Jakob Poeltl. I don't know. And then on the other side, these are the foundational pieces that we found recently that we definitely intend to keep, like Jacoby, Scottie, IQ, Grady, guys like that. Like, I just wonder if the same dividing line that's in my mind is in the Raptors' mind.
The thing that also I feel sorry for Scottie, like watching this game, is, bro, there's no one giving him anything easy. Like he generates good looks for his teammates, like really high quality looks. Scottie has to shoot deep threes, like pull up.
I'm glad he's taking them.
I know, but I just want people to understand Scottie shooting above the break threes, a step or 2 or 3 behind the line. He's shooting pull-up threes. RJ is literally shooting wide open threes from the corner.
That's true.
I need you to understand, it's not like when you look at 3-point percentage, they're not even in the same realm of difficulty of 3-point attempts. It's not close.
That's a really good point that you
It's not close. So if RJ's shooting 30% and Scottie's shooting 30% right now, what would RJ be shooting if he took the 3 Scottie took today?
Dude, I have a better thing for you. Forget Scottie and Grady. Sorry, forget Scottie and RJ. Forget those two, because that's not a conversation. Have the
Davion's taking-
conversation of Grady versus RJ.
Yeah.
Have that conversation. If RJ
Difficult,
Barrett
yeah.
had to take the defensive assignment that Grady does every single night,
Agreed.
attention to detail is very important here. If
Shot diet matters.
shot diet is so important. People like here's the thing. I hate the thing that makes me mad about Alvin Williams is he played the game. He did. Okay. Did you hear the broadcast today? He said if RJ Barrett can replicate his production on the road, he would be an MVP. He would have an MVP season. I nearly threw my remote through the window. How can a person who played basketball be this dumb about basketball? It's actually astonishing how incredibly unknowledgeable certain ex-NBA players are about the game that they clearly played. Now, he might understand, plays and terminology. But that doesn't mean he's a scout, and it doesn't mean he can evaluate talent very well. And I'm going to tell you right now, the idea that he keeps peddling and Matt Devlin keeps peddling this idea of like, oh, if Davion can just get up to 36%, dude, who fucking cares if he's 36%, 28%, 22%, 12%, 5%, 2%? I don't care. Teams aren't guarding him. That's the problem. If he's not being guarded, his 36% or 28% or 22% is only relevant when he shoots. But the problem is when he's not shooting, you're fucked. Scottie Barnes has a harder drive every single time Davion is on the same side of the court as him.
Every single time. And then throw Yak up on there. And then
that's why they keep giving him the fucking ball. They give him the ball because they literally, if you don't give him the ball, he's standing in a corner waving at air. He could probably sign autographs for fans. Yo, I want to see that happen next game. I want to see Davion signing autographs to the first row next time because honestly, you're not playing offense at this point.
The dilemma with Davion is he's useless with the ball. He's useless without the ball. It's a catch-22. You're fucked either way. I remember having an argument the other day with a friend of mine who's a Raptors fan. It was a Shed and Davion conversation, and I said, in your heart of hearts, if you were the opposing team and you were a defender, who would you rather defend? Who would you rather guard? Jamal Shed or Davion Mitchell?
Oh my God, I would 100% rather guard.
Bro, that question, when I posed that question, it shut him up real quick because he's like, yeah, I'd rather guard Davion.
Yo, Jamal Shed is hard to guard. But I will say this, like, again, we've really talked a lot of shit about Davion this podcast. And I feel like 95% of it is warranted and 5% of it is just venting. I do want to say this. He has really impressed me in spurts defensively. Like, there are some very positive plays where I'm like, wow, I can't imagine dribbling against that kind of pressure. That's very tough. Okay. It goes away a little bit because you consider the offensive issues and the, struggles off the ball. But I understand why his pressure is so disruptive to rhythm. I 100% get it. Ball handlers, everything's about rhythm, being comfortable. His motor, his toughness defensively, the physicality of having a guy that strong grinding on you all game, it just wears you out, like physically. It's just draining to go against a guy like that. So I fully understand that Darko would like him. I just would like him to be in a lesser role. To any super Davion fans out there who are like, this guy's very, very mean to my favorite player, just please relax. We are trying to be realistic about a player because there's another channel out there that is, it's not just one channel. It's like fucking 3. It's like a big cabal.
He's a media
it's the media darlings, right? It's this cabal of people that are just insisting every year to peddle this bullshit myth about one player. It's first about Fred, then it was about Pascal, and now it's about Davion. They do it every year consistently, like clockwork. They just find this person that they're going to champion and tell us all that they're so great. They're never great. You're always going to be wrong. Okay? So, it takes actual, like, and I'm trying to be rude here. It takes actual, like, understanding of the game on a very deep level to see through all the bullshit of your, advanced analytics and dots. Okay. Like, these people are actually making me hate analytics, and I studied stats. Like, I'm starting to hate the way analytics are used in the NBA. Like, I vented about it hard the other day. Like, I just don't like, oh yeah, Keeks, the Kirthika, whatever. I mean, I generally like her a lot. Like, her tweets are always nice and informative. So she tweeted out this thing about the Raptors have been like, I don't know what it was, like 15 points per game, points per 100 possession better with Davion on the court over the last 4 games. Their defense is turning around. And it's just like, so that is very, very misleading. And it's like what she's saying, I understand it. I get it. I know how she got to it and she's not lying. But it's like now armed with that fact, now everybody gets to shut down the conversation about Davion. 2 things can be true. A guy can be shooting 26% from 3, making life a living hell for your offense
26
and be very effective.
26% on wide open practice threes. Let's make it very, very clear.
Oh yeah. I mean,
no one
after the last 2 games,
threes.
I mean,
26.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But
he has
having
been
said that, man, I can't wait for
aggressive.
IQ to get back. I can't wait for IQ to get back. I just want to see. I just want to see IQ and Grady and Scottie. I just want to see what Scottie can do with those 2 on the court. Right?
Yeah.
And for 1 second, I don't know when this will happen, but when Scottie will one day play with 5 out, like actually 5 guys that the defenses respect.
Mm-hmm.
I miss 2019, bro. I miss 2019. When everybody shot. Remember our 8-man rotation? All 5 can shoot.
Yeah. 100%.
This is 100% calculated. We're going to make it hard for Scottie. I agree with that. We are going to make it hard to get wins. This is stealth tanking. And the moment we get the assets or the pieces we need, you will not see these non-shooters on the court. A lot of these guys will not be here. You will not watch Darko play people who are literally anchors to their teammates. But right now, it's helping the tank. It's helping the objective.
No, I agree. Two-Tone saying, happy birthday, Rob. Thanks for inspiring the youth and educating everyone. Blessings, brother. Thank you, man. I appreciate you very much. Thank you very much. And Sparkling, happy birthday, Rob. Hit the like, everyone. Yes, hit the like, not for my sake, for your sake, because if we get this video to 300 likes, I promise by tomorrow morning, if we get this video to 300 likes, I will do a film breakdown of the top 10 prospects in the 2025 draft. And it will take 2.5 hours of work to 3 hours of work to put it all together. So, you know, that's how I'm going to spend my birthday, because I think the community really fucking needs it right now, because we need hope. Okay. We need some hope. We need some hope down the line. And, you know, I think what you said is true. Like once we become competitive and we start to, you know, roll it over, and I don't think we're going to take multiple years. I really don't. I think if we decide to pull the plug on this season and Scottie can kind of look around and see, okay, I get it. You know, we tried to do our best. We're a very connected team, but maybe it's time for Jacoby Walter to start and get 30 minutes. And, you know,
that would help right now.
That would help tremendously. And that's not shade on Jacoby. He's just not ready to play in the NBA right now. He's just very slight of frame, and he's going to get bullied and abused by veterans and professionals. You know, again, people who've never played basketball will not understand the physical advantages that a 26 or 27-year-old has on a 19-year-old, because they've never been that 19-year-old. They've never been that 19-year-old who's bumped up against a Division II player at a rec league or, you know, whatever. You know, like I remember one time, I think I was 14 or 15, and I played someone who was playing Division I basketball, and I thought I had met God. Like really, just how much that dude moved faster than me. I thought I'm like, what am I watching? Like, who am I? Who are you? Am I human? Do I even play this sport? Like, what the hell? He beat me for everything. He beat me for rebounds. I would go for it. He'd be like 4 inches higher than me. I would move. I don't know. I was used to like, you know, like trying to post up guys, and I had like a little package of layups and shit. Block that shit right out. And I was like, my God, like this is the gap. He was, I want to say 19. I was what, 15 to 19. That's the gap. Physically, huge gap. Strength wise, huge gap. Experience, huge gap. Talent, also huge gap. Like those gaps exist. So a guy like Dariq Whitehead is just that much older than Jacoby right now. He's probably 2 years older. And that 2 years is going to matter. So a lot of people were like clowning Jacoby's game yesterday, and they're like, it's not that special. And so you have no idea what you're even looking at. It's so special for a 19-year-old kid to be able to go out among professional basketball players and do that. So let him do it on the NBA level. I hope he gets minutes. in the next 2 games. I really
Um,
do. I hope he's permanent rotation.
I agree. I'm. This is all I'm excited to watch. For the remainder of the year, I want to watch IQ. I want to watch Scotty. I want to watch Shed. I want to watch Grady. I want to watch Jacoby Walter, and I want to watch Mogbo and Jameson Battle. Those 7. The rest, I already know what I'm getting. It is what it is. They're pretty much closed books to me. Those 7, I'm interested in watching. And my last question to you is, what's the word on Grady?
No idea. Haven't heard anything.
Is this a
was it
back-to-back
calf- it was calf
precaution?
strain?
Is this a back-to-back precaution?
I think it's a calf strain, so it is what it is. And at that point, what do you do? Oh man, I'm officially 7 minutes away from that big number. I'm freaked out. It's like I'll end this live before I turn 37 for sure. Okay.
Not RJ, the players I listed. RJ, I think he is what he is, and I don't think I'm going to be surprised much. Whereas the 7 players I named, they just interest me more. They have more growth. There's like more room. I haven't seen enough of them. Like IQ, I wanted to see him this year. What did he work on this summer? His first year going into as a starting point guard. Obviously, Grady's 20, right? Then there are the rookies, and obviously Scottie.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Like, you saw RJ tonight. He is what he is. Love the guy, but he is what he is. I'm not expecting anything that I haven't already seen. I don't think there's a leap there. I'm just being honest.
No, I agree. I think like the playmaking, you don't see a leap.
If there was, we needed it tonight.
I mean, I hate to say it, you're playing a competent defense, and you're
Okay,
playing Davion
Scottie
Mitchell
did it.
with.
Scottie
I mean,
did it.
how many minutes? Yeah, sure. I mean, how many minutes did Davion play with RJ? I think that's the complicating factor here, right? But I mean, like life, as much as we want to blame RJ would also benefit from the same spacing that Scottie's attacking. It's not easy to stop RJ with your 3rd best defender.
I'm not,
or your 4th best defender. And I mean, here's the question for you. We both agree that teams are not guarding RJ Barrett the way they guard Grady Dick and Scottie Barnes, right?
no.
So what if, now here's the question, the big question. What if all those guys come back? Now, who are you putting your weakest defender on? Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick, Scottie Barnes, or Jakob Poeltl? If it's a wing or a guard, you're putting him on RJ Barrett. Now you start to see the grander vision of just how elite that could be, because RJ Barrett attacking with space, no Davion Mitchell on the court, with some space, or even if he, co-pioneers the 2nd unit, right? The role that Scottie had last year, if potentially he adopts that role, I could see a world in which RJ is much better for having the same spacing that we're complaining Scottie doesn't have. I'm not playing devil's advocate here. This is just straight common sense. Davion is making life a living hell for everybody.
I agree. And you know what's interesting? There was in the 4th quarter, there was a possession where Asar Thompson was guarding Scottie and he fouled him, right? He fouled him. The very next possession, Asar Thompson was on RJ and he stripped him. RJ cannot handle top tier defenders. It's not going to happen. If you put a Thompson brother on RJ, if you put Aaron Gordon on RJ, if you put, these bigger wing defenders, bro, it's nights out. It's a night. It's over. He physically can't do anything with those guys. RJ needs to have at minimum the 2nd best defender or 3rd best defender, and he'll eat with spacing. But that's his role. That's his job. Slice and dice these guys. When they're compromised, you go straight to the basket. And there's nothing they can do.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, man, I guess, yeah. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Any final thoughts?
I really wanted this one, bro.
Yeah, me too. I really wanted it. That's why I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed.
I was never disappointed on any loss this year. I've disattached myself from losses. But, bro, when that shot went in, I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I think
It hurt. It actually hurt.
I think we all expected this one and wanted to see if the Raptors could mount a couple and then maybe go into Miami and steal one, you know? Whereas now it's just like the math is starting to climb for the Raptors the same way it is for the Sixers, and that's what makes it tough. Anyways, man, thanks for calling in. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Have a good night.
you too.
Okay, Tetrahedragon, final caller. What's going on, man?
Oh, hey, hey, Rob, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Happy birthday.
2 minutes away. Yep.
Fair. So I've got two theories on this Davion Mitchell thing. I've got the tinfoil hat one and the reasonable one, I think.
Okay, give me the tinfoil hat one.
So the tinfoil hat one is the Raptors' internal calculus says they're probably going to be picked between 8 and 14. But perhaps they've got a deal with whoever Davion signed with, that the guy they really want, who's probably around 5 or 6, could fall to them at 9 or 10 if they can rehab Mitchell to get into their next contract, kind of thing, to some extent.
So you're using the same logic as I used earlier with the Ulrich Shamshay thing. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that was your logical one? No, that was your that was your tinfoil. Okay, give me your logical one.
It's just an unfortunate set of circumstances. They want, like, Darko knows numbers, I'm assuming, as well as you. He can read these things, I'm sure, as well as any of us can. Like you've said, once upon a time, he's probably forgotten more about basketball than you ever knew. It's just he wants certain guys to play in certain positions. He doesn't have another point guard he wants to put in there. He never really wanted Davion to play anywhere near as much as he did, but his point guards keep getting friggin' hurt. And the time that he's supposed to be playing Davion was supposed to be split between Davion and Shed developing. And Davion was just sort of a extra time guy in the original calculus, but since their point guards keep getting hurt, they just have to keep using them in the way he wants to set things up, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's just a worst case scenario is occurring for what he's trying to do, I guess.
Yeah. I agree.
Those are my theories.
I get that. Just want to respond to a couple quick comments. Lyra Alvarez saying, "No way you're on a live for your birthday." Oh my God, it is actually my birthday now. I'm looking at the clock. Yikes. Hey bro, tough loss. Zazu, shout out Zazu. Your chat was your cookout yesterday was something that I talked about earlier in the day. I found it insane. And I hope those people ate some humble pie tonight. Hey bro, tough loss, but man, we have Mogbo or Scottie on the court for that last play and not one of them there to guard Ivy for length. At least Mogbo and then Scottie be the helper. Well, Scottie was the helper, he just didn't help. So, I don't think it was a defense thing. Some guys, sometimes you're good, sometimes you're great, sometimes you're lucky, right? I think Jaden Ivey was a combination of all of those on that shot. So that was tough. Everyone's saying happy birthday, happy birthday. Yo, just so everybody understands, I have a very not serious relationship with my birthday as I appreciate that, but the cake stuff, I'm not one of those people that I told you I haven't had a birthday party in 4 years. I'm just not someone who makes a big deal out of my birthday. And therefore, I know people who make a big deal out of their birth month. They're like, every week I'm knocking out something. I'm like, wow. Anyways, yeah, I hear you. The one thing I will push back on is we have seen RJ and Scottie play considerable amount of point this year. Mm-hmm. So Davion starting in place of Grady, who was injured tonight, it does not match up with what you're saying here, because he could have easily started Mogbo, who has started before this year. He could have started Battle. He could have started Boucher. The positional versatility here, right? Consider the following lineup: Scottie at the 1, RJ at the 2, Ochai at the 3, Boucher at the 4, Mogbo at the 4, right? You could have gone, if you were going to start a wing, you could have started Battle at the 3, right? You could have started Garrett Temple tonight. Garrett Temple is a better player right now than Davion Mitchell, and I don't think it's that close. I think Darko is very obsessed with a particular aspect of what Davion brings to the team, right? Which is the pressure, the pickup point, So it's like training wheels for the team. I've mentioned this many times before, but I think at some point he has to look at basketball as a two-way, and And so maybe, again, you said it and I've said it. Darko knows way more about basketball than I do. Me criticizing him is usually going to be like, I'm probably going to have egg on my face if I do so. So this isn't the case of like, I don't think this is the case of Darko is blind to everything Davion does wrong. He's clearly aware of it.
Mhm.
It's not a, maybe this is a situation where the Raptors are trying to have their cake and eat it too. Rehab his value. Potentially he's an expiring contract. See what you can develop out of him. See what you can develop out of Boucher, right? Last year, Boucher was in Darko's doghouse, right?
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
completely, he was buried. Has he played any different this year? Not really. He's not really that different. Materially, he's very much a similar person. What has changed? Situation has changed and his contract situation has changed. Now Boucher is an expiring. Last year a lot of us drove ourselves mental wondering why Malachi Flynn was getting so many minutes and then he was traded.
Right.
So yeah, I think when something doesn't make sense in Darko's system, it's usually because it's being showcased for a trade. I'm learning that. Pascal Siakam standing in corners didn't make a hell of a lot of sense. Then him dominating possessions didn't make a lot of sense. Pascal Siakam was a constant point of frustration. Dennis Schroeder was a constant point of frustration. Every person who was a constant point of frustration last year got traded. Pascal, Dennis, Malachi, Precious, they all got traded. Everyone got traded. Unfortunately, my favorite dude, OG, also got traded, but
Yeah, I know.
the vast majority of people that I really just did not appreciate being on this team got traded. And so now I'm just thinking like, okay, I think the Raptors know what they have in most of these guys. Like I really do. I think they're not completely stupid. They understand, okay, the future is battle, potentially
Grady.
Ochai if he continues to play this well, Ochai, these guys, etc. But for now, we still have these people on our team, like that are assets. They're under contract. And if we do get active at the trade deadline, it's going to matter that Davion Mitchell is a starting point guard shooting 35% from three or 20% from three.
Yeah.
Anyways, man, thanks a lot for calling in. Do you have any final thoughts?
Happy birthday.
I appreciate you. And thanks for calling in. Always nice. And thanks for your two-pronged theory.
Yeah, have a great night. Thank you.
See ya. Okay, I was wrong. Tetrahedragon is not the final caller of the night. It is ZiggsawPuzzle is going to be the final caller of the night. Okay, Miriam Booth, as always with the support on IG. Treat yourself to a nice birthday coffee, Mark and Miriam. Thank you guys so much from the Bahamas, all the way from the Bahamas. We love it. You're getting. I mean, what a lucky guy am I? I get to talk about sports, and I'm getting wished happy birthday from people from the Bahamas, people from Taiwan. Shout out Daryl. People from all over the place. That's really cool. Tommy D, happy birthday, Rob. My first donation on YouTube. Oh man, that's huge. Thank you. Keep up your good work. I love your content. You are the only Raptors podcast that I follow besides Raptors Digest for news. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate that very much. And welcome to the YouTube monetization space. That's a big deal. I actually started super chatting when Oxcourt, when I started following my friend's channel, and it's really interesting, the live space, the live streaming space and stuff. So yeah, these donations and super chats go a very, very long way towards helping content creators. So thank you very much for that. Okay, let's bring them on. ZiggsawPuzzle, what's going on? You are the final caller of the night. Make it count. What's going on?
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I first time I saw you was when you made that Kody video about trading Pascal for Kody. That was my introduction, and it's been like 2 years since then. So it's been a good long ride, and it's good to see like how the team's changed since the past 2 years. Even though today was a heartbreak loss, it was like what it is, what it is.
Yeah, I think we all felt it. Like I immediately I screamed no. Like
it's
no.
when he's
like almost like
ISO. When he was ISO and he didn't have his hips locked or anything. Like it didn't look like he was defending. He was just watching him shake and bake. Jaden Ivey, Davion, because I was never feeling it. I don't know if he's just phoning it in. Maybe that's Darko's instructions. I think I think Masai said we're tanking for we're tanking, right? Masai said that.
Yeah.
I think Bobby as well. So
Yeah.
I think when Darko is still tanking, well, like, you know, he's trying to like step on two boats at once.
Yeah, I got you. I know what you mean. Zazu, I'm dropping a link in the chat if you want to call in. I don't know. I've called into your Twitter Spaces many times. If you feel like calling in, I dropped the link in the chat. It's very simple. You just call in on your phone. If you want to talk, I don't know. You're very entertaining guys sometimes. Maybe you want to call in. Anyways, I don't know. This is one of those perspective building losses where, you know, you hope that the team learns from it. You work
There's
so
so much
hard.
footage. There's so much mistakes that they did. So like, there's definitely stuff to look over.
Oh God, yeah. And I think, you know, if you can look at how many times this team has lost like this year, how many
Like,
times at
if they
the
make half the
buzzer?
mistakes, they win this game. That's the crazy thing. Like, even half the mistakes, or
Oh,
even
yeah.
90% of the mistakes, they win this game.
Yeah, I think it was you learn how to practice, then you learn how to play, then you learn how to win. That's the Darko quote, right? So
Makes sense, yeah.
it makes a lot of sense, right? You first have to learn how to practice. Like, your practice habits have to be correct. You have to have the right attention to detail. Then you have to learn how to play together. And then only when you learn how to play together can you actually learn how to make winning plays. And this is very difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do for a young team that is consistently going to, you know, make mistakes, you know? Anyways, yeah. We got another caller, Kody Josiah. What? I'll bring you on to Kody Josiah. What's up?
Yo, what up, Rob?
What's good?
Nice to be back.
Yeah.
I called like a couple weeks ago, but
Are you the dude with the super cool podcast setup
yeah,
and the really bad basketball takes?
Oh yeah, your mic is a lot better than mine.
terrible drafting choices, but you know, we good.
I remember. How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. I just want to talk about just one thing, and then I'll bounce. But
Yeah, what's up?
Rob, Scott, Raptors are 1-8 when Scottie scores 30 plus. You think that's like an issue? Like, you think the Raptors don't need Scottie to score in order to win? Or like, I don't know. Because 1-8 when he scores 30 plus is a bit concerning. But I don't know.
I think it's an issue of shooting, right? Because like, even if he finds the open guy, they have to make the shot.
No, I don't think
I don't
that's
know.
it. So a lot of his big scoring games have come in games where his team is not scoring. So he is like a breaking case of necessity type of guy. If you'll realize, like, the game against the Nets, the game against the Lakers, he's often saved his big scoring outbursts for really good teams. This game notwithstanding, the Atlanta Hawks game, I think, where he scored 30 is notwithstanding. But for the most part, he's really good in those games. Like, he's extremely efficient. Usually, he's not super highly turnover prone. And like, let me put it this way. If you decide when you're down 12 or 8 against the Milwaukee Bucks and you've got 9 points to go score 21 straight points and you lose that game by 3, technically we lose that game, right? But the only reason you're even going out and trying to score that many points is largely because the rest of your team fell flat, right? So I think Scottie prefers to let other people score. So if RJ's going, he's going to get him the ball. If Davion is shooting threes, his biggest joy is passing to his teammates 100% of the time. When his teammates don't show up, that's usually when he puts it on. I think a lot of fans who are critical of him would rather him be determining when his big games are. So not, I'll go when RJ doesn't go, and when Pascal's not when Pascal's not rolling, I'll go. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that to happen.
Yes.
So yeah, and you said 1-8. I find that super hard to believe because he scored.
He played 7 games this year.
Oh no, I'm talking about like 1-8, like
all time.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true, but I saw an Instagram post. But
yeah, well, I mean, okay, they won the game against San Antonio. I believe he was over 30 points in that game. That's yeah. I mean, it's correlation is not causation. Is one thing. Him scoring more points is never going to hurt his team ever. Yeah. Anyways, man, any final thoughts?
No, that's all I wanted to talk about. Keep doing your thing, Rob. I'll be back later.
You.
Love,
Appreciate
bro.
you, man.
Love.
Thanks. ZiggsawPuzzle, any final thoughts?
IQ's back in 2 weeks, right?
I didn't hear. Is it 2 weeks?
I actually don't know. It's again chat information, so maybe it's false news.
Well, Bruce Brown's back soon. That'll help. Yeah.
He's back this week, right? This week is it?
Yes, he'll be back probably.
That'll be much needed. I wish we played Gary tonight. Gary Temple.
Yeah,
would have been much more useful. All right, that's it.
All right, man. Cheers. Have a good one. Have a good night.
You too. Have a birthday.
Thank you. Okay, Zazu. Zazu, what's up, man?
Hey, man. Goddamn, bro. Happy birthday, first of all.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Big birthday to you, my guy. Second of all, as soon as you drop that link to join this, I forgot what it's called.
StreamYard.
Dude, it was like, I have to say 50. I had to tap like 50 times to get in here.
Word?
I have to go through like a portal. So I click the link, it takes me to Chrome, and I try to sign in using my YouTube. Then it says you can't use Chrome, you gotta go to Safari. So I copy and paste to Safari, and then it gets me. And then
you have an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone. So
okay, that's your problem.
Oh,
that's your actual problem. No, you got to use Safari on an iPhone. You got to use Chrome or Firefox and literally everything else. Yeah.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah, and then it took me to more portals.
First of all, you savage. Why are you using Chrome on a? No, I'm being hypocritical. I'm using a Mac and I'm using Chrome right now. My bad.
Chrome is like
Safari is garbage.
Yeah, man, because Chrome, sometimes you can Chromecast straight to your TV.
Facts.
Safari is not the best. It's not ideal, man.
Yeah. How was the space tonight? How was the cookout? Good? Bad?
I was cooking for sure.
Were they cooking Scottie again?
Well, so, if when Scottie cooks, they say, oh, look, he scored 30 points. When Scottie scores 30 points, he's 1 for 8. The team.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
like, bro,
Oh,
come on, give it up. Give it up, man.
Cool.
Give it up.
We'll let Scottie know. We'll let Scottie know to stop scoring at 29 next time.
Right. So somebody said that on the space, so we gave it to him, and then they're now saying that like, what did they say? That was just crazy. Raymond came in and said that like, oh, Scottie, like the team isn't don't have cohesion around Scottie. That Scottie has to fit them rather than fitting around Scottie. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Oh Lord. What? Like he didn't disrupt anything. He was taking wide. He wasn't taking wide open. He was taking contested threes. The fact that he drew such difficult defensive pressure opened up the floor for everybody. They just didn't make shots. A lot of them didn't make shots. Wide open. He can't dunk the ball for Jamal Murray. Sorry, not for Jamal Murray, for Jamal Shed. Like he just, that's why that's why we do film breakdowns, right? We do film breakdowns earlier in this live. We broke down all the film from this game, all the little snips. And anyone who follows us on X, anytime you miss one of these lives, just go to X and look at the last game. I post all of them, okay? And you can just see it all slowed down for you. So there's so much we miss in real time. We miss these things in real time, but I think Scottie played fantastic, man. I think he can play better for sure, but I mean, shit, like Detroit's not a bad defensive team. You remember halftime I came on, I was like, yo, there's not your
that's a good team. That's a good defensive team. Look, that's why the game was 102-100.
Exactly.
Both teams was playing excellent defense.
I don't know if the Raptors played excellent defense, my man.
I mean, we limited them to 102 points.
That's because they lack talent on offense. No, see, this is the thing.
Fair, that's fair.
So
that's
like
fair.
the Raptors,
I get that.
The Minnesota game against Toronto, everyone's like, oh my God, Minnesota is great defensively, and it's like they're really not.
Yeah.
They're pretty bad this year. That's the thing. The Cleveland Cavaliers are legit defensively. But Minnesota is not. But that's where people go based on old information. They see Anthony Edwards, they see Jaden McDaniels, they see Rudy Gobert. They're like, that's a great defense. It's like they haven't been great defense all year. They're just a shit offense. So it's like sometimes you go up against a team when they're playing really bad and you start to maybe feel yourself a little bit. And I think the Raptors, they won the game against Minnesota. And I think a lot of people just started to get very excited by it. But I think it's a little bit like fool's gold at this point, right? We've beaten a not very healthy, but we're right down to the wire on these games, man. We're right there. We were up 6 against Denver,
No, 100%, man. Like Look, when it comes down to Scotty, like people need to understand this kid. You can't ask him to conform to his teammates. Like his game,
He
like
does
the
that
way.
naturally anyway.
Right, that's what
I
I'm
hate
saying.
that he
Like
does that. I want him to do less of that, not more of that.
honestly, I was telling people, look, there's gonna be a lot of like reacclimation to the team where players like Scotty comes back, the hierarchy is high in the hierarchy, the food chain. So rightfully, people are gonna get less touches. RJ's right now is used to like was used for the last 11 games, dribbling the ball as a point guard, right?
Mhm.
And then snaking dribble through the pick and roll and getting his shot off. Like that's what he's used to. Well, for now, as like his nature right now is to play like that. So he now has to learn how to be back off ball again and finishing cutting off ball rather than with the ball in his hand right off the bat.
He had the
So
ball
that
plenty, dude. Like tonight, he had the ball plenty. He just made really bad decisions with the
right,
basketball. Davion Mitchell, I said it earlier. I wouldn't have started Davion tonight. I would have started Jamison Battle.
yeah, battle, yeah, because you
Battle
need
was
that
great.
Grady effect, right? Not that
To
battle can
some
do
extent,
something,
you need
right?
that. And Ochai had a horrible game tonight. Horrible. Like the worst game that I've seen from him in a Raptor uniform. And this is amidst a season that's been so positive. I hope he can find it because he was a really big part of our road success last time we were on the road. And
Right.
RJ was terrible. Ochai
Right.
was great. So Ochai does not look confident or clear right now. And I feel like
Well, again, this is what I'm saying. Like, there's going to take some acclimation process to happen because Ochai, his touch is gone a little bit down too. Because again, when Scotty comes, the pecking order, everything's going to shift, right? So no, I'm not saying Scotty's not going to pass them. Scotty's going to pass them the ball. They're going to get their touches in dozens. When you're wide open, Scotty will find you. You will get that shot off, right? You're just going to have to get used to that again,
well, we
right?
were talking about it earlier. Like, do you see how difficult Scotty's threes are?
Oh yeah,
They're hard. They're contested and they're 27, 28 feet away and they're
far.
above the break. You see how
Mhm.
easy Ochai and RJ's threes are?
In the corners.
Conversely, do you see how difficult Emmanuel Quickly and Grady Dick's threes are? You see
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
Like,
Right.
have you? Okay, here's a question for you. Has any player that you've seen guard Davion Mitchell from three this year? Have you seen a player within 6 feet of him when he's taking those
Oh,
threes?
that guy's wide open. This
Bro,
guy's
he
guy's
wide
swimming
open
in the ocean.
every time. But
He's
that's my point.
swimming in the
If
ocean.
you're wide open, somebody else is not. Now, my boy and I, when we were young, we used to spam two-man. We used to go to any gym. I'm not that tall. He's roughly 6'2", but he's built. And
Right.
we would go in and we try challenge anybody. Be like, anybody want to play like $20, 2-on-2, anyone, two. We would beat everybody. You know why we beat everybody? Because he couldn't be stopped in the post without a double team. And the second you double teamed, he sprayed out to me and I'll never miss. It was unstoppable. That's the
Right.
point, though. That's maximum spacing. And I'm just talking 2-on-2. You could not guard two people that are that far apart with one defender. You can't. So if they were just an incredible, defensive pair who could actually guard 1-on-1, then we would just play two-man action and we just spam the shit out of pick and roll. It was a very simple equation. Davion Mitchell complicates all equations because he's never guarded. Nobody guards him. He just like you're playing 4-on-5 all the time. But my thought process on this is it's genius for the Raptors to play 4-on-5 because it makes the other four players better. Like if I always have to play with a handicap, that's like if me and you play.
I guess it's real true development is happening.
Oh, for sure, because you have a son, right? How
Yeah,
old's
I
your
got
son?
I got 5 kids.
Amazing. How old's your youngest kid?
Oldest is 9.
Okay, perfect. So let's say me, you, and your son, who's 9, right, go to the park, and we're gonna play 3 grown adults who are decent hoopers.
Yeah,
we're gonna play 3-on-3. Yo, me and you are gonna have to develop a lot real quick. Right? we're gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting on the rebounding. We're gonna have to do a lot of playmaking, and we're gonna pray that your son can hit one open 3 the entire time. Your son is basically Davion Mitchell, right? In this situation, your son is like Davion Mitchell in that sense, right?
Big facts.
So that's how I see it. Like from a developmental standpoint, I think Darko could write books on development. He's very good at it. We've seen proof of concept with Grady. We've seen proof of concept with RJ, Scotty, all these guys. So we just have to trust. Even Battle, Mogbo. These guys are getting better. Mogbo hit 3s in back-to-back games. Shout outs to
Bro,
that.
he's been working. Bro, Mogbo.
He didn't hit a single three all college season.
I don't know why people always assume that these guys, because they didn't shoot in the actual college game, that he won't be a shoot. He can't shoot in the NBA.
Facts.
That doesn't equate because look, he grew how many inches more when he was a freshman?
So he went to the same high school. He started at the same high school that Scottie
Right.
did
He
in
was like
Florida,
5'9".
He was 5'11". So he's
5'11".
5'11", and he shot up to about 6'5".
That was
like,
in
the next year.
college.
It was in high school.
Was that in high school he shot up?
I believe
Or
so.
I read that like when Scottie left in high school, when did Scottie leave him in high school?
Grade 10.
Grade 10. So Scottie didn't see him in grade 10. It was during the COVID. There was an article that came out when he left during COVID year. So I don't know what how old he was during the COVID year. He
Mhm.
left and had to go play in some other like university. That's when he got a growth spurt from like 6'1" to like whatever. Because he in his first year as a rookie, in college he was 6'1".
Hmm.
Then in his when he went back after COVID and his mom looked at him, was like, whoa. Right? Because COVID happened a couple of years and then he finally was able to go back home. That's
Mhm.
when he actually he got to like 6'9", however tall he is now.
He's 6'7".
6'7". So
6'7", 6'8". Yeah.
yeah, so from that time as a freshman in in college, his final year he was like 6'9", 6'7", sorry. That's
Okay,
a
so
tremendous
you're
jump.
correct. He was 6 foot ending high school. I thought he was
Yes.
6 foot in grade 10. My bad.
Right.
So he was 6 foot, and then he hit 6'8". So this is wait, 5'9". So
Bro,
he was 5'9" to start high
Yes.
school,
Yes.
and then he went to 6 foot ending high school, and then
Right.
he hit 6'8". Yo, that's crazy.
Bro,
That's a
which
big
means
time growth spurt.
that's why his handles, like if you see him do a behind the back dribble,
Oh, for sure.
it's beautiful.
So yeah,
So
like for sure. He's awesome.
yeah, he had a crazy growth spurt like out of nowhere. That's why he's actually a tremendous defender on guards. Like you saw him guarding Maxey.
And Edwards.
He
Yeah.
has the lateral quickness.
He's great, man. Yo, but a lot of people who get like late growth spurts, they usually have a lot of injury issues or a lot of, stiffness, joint issues, and
But
flexibility
he's pretty
issues.
mobile though.
He is for
Yeah.
sure. Another player who had a really late growth spurt was Anthony Davis. And like
Yeah,
it's
he did,
really
yeah.
helped. It really helped because he grew up playing point guard, right? And it's like if you grow up moving like a guard and suddenly now you're 6'9", your body doesn't know you're not a 6'9" guard. So Jonathan Mogbo, like it's funny, he's so smart. You see when players do the wrong thing, he gets
Right.
cheesed. He gets mad cheese. Like on the court,
Yeah,
like
you
he
can
gets
see it.
like he's like he's got that Scottie rookie energy, right? So
Right.
yeah, I have a feeling he, Jacoby, Jamal, like this rookie class, I've been saying it all summer. I love them. I love this whole rookie class. All five of them. All five of them. There ain't one player in that rookie class that I'm not like, I'm 100% behind this. The Davion and stuff, like I'm just hoping this is asset farming and they're going to be traded real soon, man.
But don't you think Davion is still a better like an upgrade than Jaden McDaniels?
Do we have to go to the bottom of the earth to
Hey,
find the
hey,
example? Can we not stick to your 9-year-old son? We got to go to Jaden McDaniels. Yes, you are correct. I think the
Right?
most frustrating thing about Jaden McDaniels is, not only was he just around as old as Davion, is that he did not compete on
Did I
defense
say
at
Jaden?
all.
I meant to say Jalen. Sorry, there, Ziggs.
Don't worry, we both made that mistake. Yeah, I've pretty much wiped Jalen McDaniels from my memory. He does not exist. He was the worst. Him, there are very few Raptors that really like haunt my dreams. Jalen McDaniels is one of them. I want to say Fred is somewhat one of them, but not because of talent, because of other things. Rafael Arujo definitely haunts my dreams.
Rafael
Arujo for sure. Aaron Baines for sure. Yeah, I don't know. There's some Raptors that have been
I'll tell mine are absolutely 1,000% Fred VanVleet, Dennis Schroeder last year for me, and you can't compete with those two on my books.
That's fair.
Because the reason why for Fred, the lack of accountability between him and Nick Nursery drove me nuts. And the fact that like he just felt like he was the king of town, like the boss, and like he was the lead, like that just made me sick. Like, which franchise makes a 6'0" guard who's a glorified role player our leader in the locker room and on the floor? That made me sick to my stomach. And the worst thing that could have ever happened to our franchise was him becoming an all-star. That just ruined everything. Right,
there was a very big media push for that, man. There was a lot of people who pushed it, and people were. I don't even care that he made an all-star team because he had the numbers to some extent. I care that people just started to use that narrative to push that he was worth a max contract, that he was a top 5 point guard in the league. And I'm like, bro, I played point guard. I watched point guard. I watched basketball since I was 5 years old. Basically, since I've been able to eat, walk, I've been watching basketball. I watched some of the greatest point guards of all time. New York City point guards, you know, coming from New York, like seeing, you know, the game. Also, like one of the greatest point guards of all times hails from my country, which is like Milos Teodosic. Like I understand like this position very well. And seeing Fred VanVleet miss open cutters every game was crazy. So I think that you have brought this live to a very, very good point, which is that we must be grateful that we are no longer where we once were. Because as frustrating as this is still a vast improvement over where we were 2 years ago, right?
Yup.
Yeah.
Yup.
Did you ever watch the Raptors Honest trailer that I made?
No, I've not. Which one? The one about Fred VanVleet?
It's about the whole team.
No, I think I seen it. I can't remember.
Did you ever see this? Let me show you a clip. Just tell me.
From the company that brought you...
Okay, cool. I'm actually going to play that to end this video so that people can have a nice laugh at the end of this live. I've been thinking about when do we need that moment of reminder of where we were. I think this is the moment we need to remember that. But yeah. Anyways, man, any final thoughts?
No, final thoughts, guys. Listen, I'll be real with you. I think we're a better team than 4-14. We really,
sure we're better. Yeah,
we really truly are. At this stage, we're almost at the 20 game mark. Don't think that like, you know, tanking will get you your top pick, because learn from Detroit Pistons. They were the worst team in the past couple of years, and they still got they got the 5th pick. So, you know, keep fighting, you know, win or lose, who cares? Clearly, we're going to be a bottom tier team anyways. So as long as the boys are fighting and are growing and learning, that's all I care for this season. And let's see where those balls land, man, because we could use one of those top picks. You know,
we for sure could. And if this video gets up to 300 likes, I'm going to do a breakdown of the top 10 prospects in 2025 tomorrow. All right, Zazu, thanks a lot for calling, man. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man. Have a good one.
Good night. Okay. Give me a W if you want to watch this video. I promise I won't force recycled content on you if you don't want to watch it. But if we want to watch it, it's definitely here. We got one. I'd take Fred VanVleet on a mid-level as backup point guard and apology. Okay, cool. I don't assume that all of you have even watched this video because some of you may have discovered Pinsari basketball later. Okay.
From the company that brought you 25 years of this bullshit and the worst cell phone reception in North American history comes a team so lost, so dysfunctional, that this is their leader.
Ben Taylor was terrible. You just want to be and that.
And you got 15,000 people calling you an ass.
It's a lot of bleeps.
Watch as this group of 6'9" non-shooters attempts to overcome their lack of offensive talent by dribbling, offensive rebounding, shooting heavily contested twos, more dribbling, dry heaving the basketball, air balls, crying to the referees, never moving without the basketball, standing 40 feet from the basket waiting for passes that will never come because why are you standing that far away? More dribbling? All right, gotta get it. And when it all goes to hell, trading their future draft assets for one of the worst shooters in NBA history. Hey, he was eating cereal, and it's like he never left, and everyone likes Jakob, and the pick probably won't be good, all right? God, coached by the man who can't stop complaining and looks like that guy from Operation fall asleep crying to Vince Carter and Kawhi Leonard highlights as you try to remember what having a real superstar feels like. It felt pretty great. I talked a lot of... No wonder people hate Raptor fans. Observe as the team that had two guys who couldn't get past that one guy for 5 years pulls a Fast and Furious and tries to do the same thing all over again, except this time the two guys are way worse. And there's 6 guys they can't get past. It's all about family, am I right? Feast your eyes on the highly sophisticated flex offense designed by the least charismatic man in the world, in which hardly anyone moves.
That's where it gets fun. If you're open, you're going to get the ball.
Okay, I motion that we ban any more Australian signings for the next 5 years. Any objections? No? That's what I thought. Watch as this woefully misguided team, which once had championship aspirations, fight for the play-in as they give up a shot at a much-needed generational talent for the chance to be swept in the first round by one of these guys. Strap in, as a team that's all about development and getting better goes season after season where almost no one develops or gets better. As two guys who barely had business running a G League offense take turns making your eyes bleed, playing some of the most predictably boring basketball you've ever seen for 40 minutes a night, because they swear if they didn't play them that many minutes, the entire thing would fall apart. Hey look, we played Malachi Flynn 3 minutes for the first time in 5 weeks and he sucks, so, I rest my case. Observe the madness as perfectly talented professionals sit on the bench collecting dust like fossils, as the Three Stooges in charge swear it's because they're scrubs that belong in the Taiwanese Basketball Association. Until one of those scrubs goes to another team and leads the league in three-point shooting for half the season when he plays with real stars and shuts everyone up.
Sometimes that happens when you're not playing for like a week or so.
Sit back with your popcorn as a self-appointed leader, after having the season from hell, goes on a personal press tour as he blames roster construction, chemistry, fit, his role, younger guys, funky lineups, look, claims to be a casualty of war. And when the team finally bends to his whims and gives him the pick and roll partner he's been asking for all along so he can pad his stats and get his max contract and the team still doesn't win, watch as he turns his focus to the referees.
Yeah, I just play to win, bro.
Seriously, this guy's a leader? He's 1 week removed from blaming Mercury retrograde and global warming because he can't make layups. Get a real-life crash course in market economics as wealthy corporate elites price out real fans from the games as they sip on $40 cocktails and browse TikTok, as Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment jacks up prices by 10 and 20% a year because you're a clueless idiot who will pay top dollar for this horseshit. Because deep down, it's pretty cool being in the same building as Drake. Wait, where is Drake?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Shell out the big bucks, even though you live in your mom's basement, and keep dodging those awkward texts from Steve, reminding you about the $8 you still owe him from 2 years ago. You didn't need premium gas, you know it, I know it, Steve knows it. God, stop being a douchebag and take the bus like the rest of us. Watch as the team's top 2 talents are relegated to setting screens and standing in the corner as this wannabe washing machine does his best Kobe Bryant impression, only to disappear in the fourth quarter every single game. Rest in peace, Mamba. Watch as one of the most talented and hardworking two-way wings in the NBA stands around with his arms up as everyone ignores him and pretends he doesn't exist. Witness the chaos as a hockey-crazed Toronto media that doesn't know shit about basketball talks about how Scottie Barnes doesn't work hard enough even though he's a better player at 21 than they thought he'd be at 28. Witness the retractions as a 21-year-old who half the fan base swears can't even play basketball becomes one of the 5 most clutch players in the NBA, having big-time fourth quarters against actual Defensive Player of the Year candidates as he shows them who's boss. All the while, casual fans can't stop complaining that he does too many commercials and needs to work on his game instead of doing Twitch streams.
Yeah, Boy by Scottie. This isn't just another city. This is my home. Fight the fields, fight the...
Witness the high school drama that no one asked for that's really 1 part horror movie, 1 part Greek tragedy, as the fan base collectively loses their minds trying to figure out who unfollowed who on Instagram.
Don't do it, Mike. Don't do it.
So it started with Fred unfollowing Scottie because he was tired of the Instagram algorithm showing him Pensari basketball posts, but Fred refollowed everybody but not Scottie. He refollowed Scottie, but Scottie still doesn't follow him, and now Nick Nurse doesn't follow Siakam, but he's definitely following Alanis Morissette. Seriously, just be like OG, guys. Just have an Instagram account that you never check, never respond to your DMs. Seriously, OG, please be my best friend. I'm your biggest fan. Welcome to the season from hell. Starring Napoleon Brickfest, The Real Slim Shady, And one mixtape, Gentle Cycle Edition. Nick Nursery. OG Adobe doesn't shoot to miss. Gone in 60 seconds. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Don't tell Scotty.
Doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know.
So Precious. Joe Not Exotic. Straight out of Rexdale. The best player from Douala, Cameroon. That's a 7-footer out there. 81 reasons your opinion doesn't matter. Mr. Clean. The Dingo ate your playbook. Freddy Fanboy number 1. Freddy Fanboy number 2. Freddy Fanboy number 3. Freddy Fanboy number 4. Today, Junior. Patience is a virtue. Boy Genius. This prick. This other prick. The uncle you don't invite to Thanksgiving. Stephen A. Smith, Dollar Tree Edition. And Free Jeff Doughton. Jurassic World, Lost Season. I think that was good. All right. No Raptors were harmed in the filming of this Honest trailer. I hope you guys subscribed. I hope you liked it. I hope it was funny. Like a lot of Raptor fans, I am very frustrated with the season. I thought this would be a funny way, maybe something cathartic that we could all laugh at. We do lives after every single game. Yes, even 1 a.m., 2 a.m., it's bumping. We got 200, 300 people in the chat every single night. It's amazing.
Swipe up.
Stephen A. Smith, Dollar Tree Edition. Oh, that's gonna land. That's gonna land. He's gonna be so mad. I don't care. That guy.
Oh man, that was a blast from the past. That was funny. Yeah, I think we needed that, right? Largely to remind ourselves where we're coming from. You know, sometimes when life gets tough, this is a message to the fourth quarter gang. This is a peace note, parting note for the night as I go off to welcome my girlfriend who just came home from Nicaragua tonight. It's good to remember sometimes that it's been worse and you got through it, right? This season might be frustrating so far, right? Losing to Detroit Pistons without Cade Cunningham when you desperately needed a road win, losing at the buzzer, so many winnable issues, like workable, you know, you lose by 2. That 3 that you gave up in the corner, the 3 you gave up in the other corner, the label, you know, the various airball layups, the dropped pass from Ochai. You can really kick yourself looking at 100 different plays in this game and just saying, if we could have executed on every one of them, any one of them, we probably could have won this game. The Raptors worked their tails off tonight. There's not an ounce of bad body language on this team. There's nobody who doesn't like anybody. There's no Instagram drama. There's no bullshit. There's no coach throwing his team under the bus. It's a very young team. There's no pending max contracts. No, nothing. Everyone's locked up. This is going to require some patience. I wanted this win tonight just like you did. And I was disappointed by it just like you were. I expected us to win tonight. I did. After what happened last night, maybe this team just ran out of gas in the fourth quarter. There was a lot of mistakes in the fourth quarter, man. They were up. They rallied back from down 15. A lot of questions about rotations, a lot of questions about that stuff. But if winning is not the goal here, what is the goal? The goal really is development. And I continuously say, even though he hasn't played very well for the Raptors this year so far, Jacoby Walter is going to be a good player for the Raptors. I am very confident in saying that, having gotten to know a lot about him, watching him a little bit more, going back and studying some of his link tape, some of his Baylor tape. I really do see a vision forward where the idea that you'll be able to gang up on Scottie like they did tonight, it's going to be harder and harder when the spacing opens up. And when the spacing opens up, the 30-point games are going to be easy. The difficult thing will be how many assists can you stop him from getting? Because you're not going to be able to stop him from scoring 30, 25 every night, right? And at that point, you know, when Jacoby's hitting his shots, Grady's hitting his shots, I think the bigger question is, how does the defense stop it? How do you stop an RJ Barrett or a Grady Dick with your third best defender? Right now, you're able to put a lot of defensive focus and a lot of help on those guys. I like the fact that the Raptors, generally speaking, move the ball a lot better than they used to under Nick Nurse. So, yeah. Dwayne Reed saying, I see a mix of Ray Allen and Beal. Well, that would be fantastic. I myself was talking about a mix of Allen Houston and Latrell Sprewell, which, again, mirrors my childhood very well. That ball up there is signed by Allen Houston. It's one of my favorite players growing up. I really loved Allen. And yeah, it's been really cool to do basketball stuff. Like, just, again, what I was saying to the fourth quarter gang. I was a kid who, let's take a moment to appreciate this, right? All these super chats tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're so generous tonight. 6, 7, 8. Do you know how long it took 12-year-old me to make that much money? It took me weeks working at a job that I hated. And here I am today, turning 37 years old, doing something that I would honestly do for free. Talking about basketball is so fun for me. Engaging with this community is so fun for me. This is my dream. When I was a kid, I would look at people who hated their jobs and would do 40 years of that just so they could retire. And I would say, there must be another way. So I tried to pursue ways that I could do things that I really love doing. Art, film, running a film festival. My life is a dream. It's a dream. I get to be on the panel and talk sports. I get to learn about the game that I love so much. I get to be on here and I get to share this time with this community. And it's always time well spent. Even if this video gets to 300 likes and I do spend 2.5 to 3 hours, putting together a live tomorrow of all those prospects, it's going to be a very fun 3 hours. It's certainly not going to be a laborious 3 hours. I'm certainly going to learn a lot during that process. And I'm going to learn something that I care about. I'm going to learn something about something that I care about, which is a blessing. So again, just as we as a fan base must remember that it used to be worse and that we were once in a worse place and that we prayed for days like this. Yes, 4-14 seems bad. It seems bad, right? 5 for 14 shooting might seem bad. But I think it's always very helpful reminder to think back to a time when it was not even this good. And to put that into perspective and say, one day it will be better. It used to be worse. Today it feels bad. But years from now, through all the pain and losses, just like the Raptors right now, I'm sure that bus ride, out of Detroit must have been hell. Not just because the bus is going through Detroit, Detroit stray there, but because, sorry, I don't want to stop at this super chat. I just want to flash all the super chats here. Thank you all. Sparkling, Two Tone, Gregory, thank you very much. Marion Booth, Tommy D with your first super chat. Faux Time and Fam Jam. I did not read this one out. Happy birthday, Rob. Thank you for all your insightful analysis for us basketball fans. I really enjoy all your Raptors content despite being from Surrey, BC. Please keep up your great effort and continue to follow your passion. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And by the way, get Rob to 300 likes so he can do work. Yeah. So my point is that this is going to be a longer process. But 2014, the We the North era, it felt so good because we had gone through 4 or 5 years of just hellish basketball, losing basketball. The championship felt so good because of LeBronto. LeBronto felt terrible at the time. But if you're being honest, would you have appreciated that championship as much if you had won it right away in 2014? I don't think you would have. I think that cathartic outpouring of just jubilation. I remember the championship so clearly. I remember being on the street. Shout outs to Yelena and shout outs to Masha. We went out on the streets. Shout outs to Marina. We were all together that night. And we celebrated with thousands and thousands of screaming Raptor fans. There were so many people on the streets. We could not believe it. We couldn't we couldn't see space on the sidewalk. People were standing on lamp poles. People were standing on cars, honking for hours. It was such a huge thing. And I say this to say that that moment was what it was because of all that preceded it. And the moment that we build up to as a fan base, as a team, the championship, will be what it is. Because at one point, our team employed Jaden McDaniels and played him actual minutes. Because at one point, our team started Davion Mitchell and allowed him to go 1 for 7 every single night. You'll appreciate Emmanuel Quickly a hell of a lot more when he comes back. I'll tell you that. Perspective as a, it's just about perspective. You can't separate the losing from the winning. You just can't. It's not how life works, right? I'll share a story with you. And this is when I first learned this lesson. I think I was 12 years old. I was 12 years old and I got myself locked out of my apartment. And I must have been like a very unresourceful 12-year-old because I had no idea. I didn't have a cell phone. I just had to sit outside my apartment and wait. I had no money. I just had my backpack, my schoolwork, my textbooks, no money. And I just had to wait for my mom to come home. No change. I didn't want to bother anyone to ask for change. I didn't think to myself, I should go to a neighbor and ask them. No, I just sat outside my apartment like an idiot for 3 hours from the end of school until my mom came home. When my mom came home, I immediately ran to the sink because I was so thirsty. And I drank a glass of water. It was really cold. And I will never forget that glass of water because I'd never appreciated water until I didn't get to have it for 3 hours when I was thirsty. That's my poetic note for the end of the night. You'll appreciate winning more once you see how much losing hurts. And so will the Raptors. I'm sure that RJ Barrett and Scottie Barnes and Jonathan Mogbo are all right now racking their brains because this team cares about winning. Davion cares about winning. He may not be doing a lot of great things, and sometimes he's doing a lot of great things, but all these dudes care about winning. And you can only have so many dudes who care about winning on the same team for so long before they eventually do start winning. The pieces will swap out, yes. I'm perfectly happy getting a top 5 pick next year. If it means that we get to watch competitive, hard-nosed basketball like we did tonight. It would be so much worse to see this team go out, mail it in night after night, not get better, to play older guys just to plug those gaps a little bit, and then to lose by 30. We got a competitive loss. That's it. It's a competitive loss. And these competitive losses have a way of, at some point, flipping into competitive wins. Have a way of some way clipping into great wins. Look at what Cleveland's going through right now. Look at what Orlando's going through right now. I think that's where we're headed. With a little bit more talent and a little bit more utilization of roster, moves. I think Masai's been on a bit of a heater in terms of, deals and draft picks and stuff. I think in a couple of years, don't be surprised if the Raptors make the playoffs next year. Maybe they make the play-in this year, get bounced or something, but more realistically, they make the playoffs next year. Go deep into the first round, and then that's the summer they come back, and it's like everything's changed, just like it did for Cleveland. Last year, Cleveland went up against Boston, and they got smoked. And this year, they've come out, and they're 17-1. What has changed on their roster? Ty Jerome is not that big an addition. He's a big addition. He's not so big. Their players got better. That experience taught them a lot. You look at the Orlando Magic. How much better is Franz Wagner for the experience that he went through shooting 1 for 15, the worst shooting performance in a Game 7 ever? Can you imagine, Grady going through a 1 for 15 tough night? Sure you can. Against the playoff defenses, but once you see yourself against the Boston Celtics in a 7-game series, then you'll know what the bar is. Then you'll know who you are. And then you can grow from there. I think the Raptors will take a few years before we're talking about championships. But just like with We the North, I think it's going to be a really fun process with a lot of fun guys who are really good people. And I think that as a fan base, that's what you root for. You may never get the championship at the end, but be honest with yourselves. if 2019 had not resulted in a championship, would you really have been sad that we tried? I don't think so. I wouldn't have been sad. I got to watch great basketball for 5-6 years. I got to watch my hometown team be awesome and compete and be competently managed and have all the vibes. Yo, I still remember, all the vibes with Serge and Fred and the bench mob. And those are great memories. Those are great memories. You know what wasn't great memories? That Honest trailer. That was not a great memory. That was a terrible season from hell, and I hope we never repeat it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me until 12:52. If my girlfriend is watching, thank you for putting up with me putting work first, even on my birthday. And I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow. And if this video gets to 300 likes by the morning, I guess I got some work to do on my birthday. All right. Fun guy. I see what you did there. That's exactly what I did. Liberal saying, thanks for sticking with us. Yep. I got you, man. All right. Thank you so much to everyone. Generosity, very much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks for rocking with me on my birthday. Let's make this next year count. Talk to you guys later. Bye.